POV, you called Naruto trash, and now the entire junkyard is beating your ass. Sasuke really said bonds are trash, and Naruto took that personally. If you ever wanted to see the most disrespectful power system in anime turned into a philosophy, this is your story. Let's go.
The rusty shuriken weighed nothing in Naruto Uzumaki's palm. Half buried in mud for who knows how long, its edge was chipped, its center bent at an angle that would make any proper shinobi wince. Someone had thrown it away years ago, forgotten it existed, left it to rot in the training ground dirt like it never mattered. Perfect. Mizuki's laugh echoed through the forest clearing, harsh and mocking. Blood ran down Iruka-sensei's face where the Fuma shuriken had grazed him. The teacher was on his knees, one arm hanging limp, trying to shield Naruto with his body, even though he could barely stand. "You're just a demon," Mizuki shouted, his eyes wild with something between fear and hatred. "Trash that should have been thrown away 12 years ago. The fourth Hokage should have let you die with that monster." Naruto stood slowly, his fingers closing around the ruined shuriken. The metal was cold against his skin, rough with corrosion. But he could feel something else too. The echo of the hand that once held it with pride. The chakra that had been channeled through it before it broke. The moment someone decided it wasn't worth keeping anymore. His voice came out flat, empty of the forced cheer he'd worn like armor for years. "You call me trash?" The oversized work gloves on his hands, tattered things held together with duct tape and determination, began to glow. Blue neon symbols crawled across the fabric like living graffiti, pulsing with a rhythm that matched his heartbeat. The symbols were angular, aggressive, written in a language that looked like it belonged spray-painted on tunnel walls rather than anywhere official. Mizuki's expression shifted from triumph to confusion. "What are you?" "Then let me show you," Naruto said, his orange eyes reflecting the neon light. "The value of what you threw away." The rusty shuriken exploded with light. Not metaphorically. The thing actually detonated in his hand with a sound like crack, whoosh, shing all at once. Metal screaming as it reformed, reshaped, became something that hurt to look at directly. The rust didn't vanish. It integrated, became texture, became pattern. The bend in the metal became a curve with purpose. The chip in the edge became serration. What emerged was a circular blade the size of a wagon wheel. Its edge jagged and vicious, covered in those same neon blue markings that made it look like someone had tagged it with spray paint from another dimension. The thing spun in Naruto's grip, humming with power, and when he planted his feet and swung, the wind pressure alone tore through the forest. Trees bent, leaves exploded into confetti. The shockwave hit Mizuki like a physical wall and sent him tumbling backward, his perfect, pristine Fuma shuriken spinning from his grip. "Impossible," Mizuki gasped, scrambling to his feet. "You're the dead last! You're nothing!" Naruto walked forward slowly, the massive circular blade resting on his shoulder like it weighed nothing. Neon light traced patterns across his face, turned his features sharp and dangerous. "I'm Konoha's garbage man," he said conversationally. "I pick up what people throw away. I clean what people dirty. I fix what people break." He pointed at Mizuki with his free hand. "And I really hate people who throw things away." Mizuki grabbed his Fuma shuriken and hurled it with desperate strength. The massive weapon spun through the air, its four blades gleaming, a weapon that cost more than most genin made in a year. Naruto swung his trash blade to meet it. Shatter! The Fuma shuriken exploded into fragments, not deflected, destroyed. Pieces of expensive tempered steel rained down like broken glass, each shard catching the moonlight as it fell. Mizuki's face went white. "That weapon was pristine," Naruto said, his voice dropping lower. "Perfectly maintained, probably your most treasured possession." He lifted his rust-marked blade. "This one was thrown in the mud and forgotten, but you know what the difference is?" He moved. Fast, too fast for a genin, too fast for most chunin. The circular blade came down in an arc that painted blue neon streaks across the darkness, and Mizuki barely managed to throw himself sideways. The weapon hit the ground where he'd been standing and boom! The crater was 3 meters wide. Chunks of earth and rock fountained into the air. The shockwave rattled Naruto's teeth and made his ears ring. but he was already moving again, yanking the blade free and spinning it in a wide horizontal slash. The difference, he continued, as if they were having a casual conversation, not fighting to the death, is that someone loved this shuriken once. Someone trained with it. Someone cared enough to make it part of themselves before they threw it away. His orange eyes were cold. That love, that connection, it doesn't disappear just because you toss it in the garbage. It waits, it builds, it gets angry. Another swing, another crack of displaced air. Mizuki dodged desperately, his pristine chunin uniform getting torn and dirty, his perfect hair coming undone. And when someone like me comes along, someone who knows what it's like to be thrown away, that anger becomes mine to use. Mizuki tried to form hand seals. Naruto's blade came up, and the flat of it slammed into the teacher's stomach like a battering ram. Thud! Mizuki's eyes bulged. Spit flew from his mouth. He folded over the weapon like a broken doll. Naruto lifted the blade with Mizuki still impaled on it. No blood, just impact, and slammed him down into the ground. Crash! Another crater. Dust and debris exploded outward. When it cleared, Mizuki was unconscious, his body half buried in shattered earth, his pristine uniform destroyed. The massive circular blade shimmered, its neon markings fading, and then it crumbled. Not into rust, into light particles that drifted away like fireflies. The original shuriken remained in Naruto's hand, bent and chipped and rusted, exactly as it had been. Silence filled the forest. Then Iruka's voice, barely a whisper. "Naruto, what was that?" Naruto turned to look at his teacher, and the glove's glow finally died down. He rolled the ruined shuriken between his fingers thoughtfully. "This village threw me away," he said quietly. "Called me demon, called me monster, called me trash." He looked at Iruka, and his expression wasn't angry. It was tired, ancient. "But garbage can bite back, Iruka-sensei. And I've spent my whole life learning how to make trash into treasure." He walked over to where the scroll of sealing lay discarded on the ground, because of course Mizuki had dropped it when he started losing, and picked it up carefully, reverently, like it was something precious. "I learned one jutsu from this," Naruto said. "Shadow clone." Seemed appropriate. He handed the scroll to Iruka. "But I didn't need it to beat him. I just needed." He looked at the rusty shuriken. "This." Iruka stared at him like he was seeing Naruto for the first time. "How long have you?" "Since I was 8. Naruto's voice was matter of fact. "Some kids broke my favorite broom, the one I used to clean the Hokage monument. It was the first thing that was ever really mine." His fingers tightened on the shuriken. "When they snapped it in half and threw the pieces at me, something inside me just woke up. The broom started glowing, changed, became this huge staff that was beautiful and perfect and mine." He looked at his gloves, at the duct tape holding them together. "I've been experimenting ever since. The junkyards, the dumps, the construction sites, anywhere people throw things away, I'm there, learning what I can do." "Why didn't you tell anyone?" Iruka's voice cracked. "Naruto, that power, it's incredible. You could have been a prodigy, graduated early, been recognized. By the people who call me demon?" Naruto's laugh was bitter. "By the villagers who throw rocks at me? By the ninja who accidentally knock me into puddles?" He shook his head. "No. I decided I'd show them when it mattered. When I could make them understand that the trash they threw away is more valuable than all their pristine, perfect garbage combined." He walked past Iruka, heading back toward the village proper. "Come on, sensei. We should get you to the hospital, and we should probably tell the Hokage that one of his chunin just tried to steal village secrets and murder a genin." "Naruto." He stopped. Iruka was smiling despite the blood on his face, despite the pain, despite everything. "You graduated. You passed. You're a ninja of Konohagakure now." Naruto touched the headband tied around his forehead. He'd grabbed it after beating Mizuki, claimed it like he'd claimed everything else people threw at him, and for the first time that night he smiled. Not the fake grin he used to wear. A real smile, small and genuine and tired. "Yeah," he said. "Yeah, I guess I am." The Hokage's office smelled like tobacco and old paper. Hiruzen Sarutobi sat behind his desk, hands steepled, looking at Naruto with an expression that was equal parts fascination and concern. Iruka stood to the side, bandaged but determined to tell his story. "Show me," the Hokage said simply. Naruto shrugged and looked around the office. His eyes landed on a trash can in the corner. overflowing with discarded paperwork, broken pencils, and what looked like the remains of someone's lunch. He walked over, his gloves already beginning to glow with that signature blue neon, and plunged his hands into the garbage. "Vital instrument," he said, his voice taking on a different quality, deeper, resonant, like he was speaking in stereo. "Scrap shield." The trash exploded upward, pieces spinning and merging and transforming. Broken pencils became supporting struts. Crumpled paper flattened and hardened, overlapping like scales. Leftover rice somehow crystallized into a translucent coating that made everything shine. In 3 seconds, Naruto held a round shield the size of his torso, covered in neon blue graffiti-style markings, looking like something between a traditional buckler and modern street art. He rapped his knuckles against it. Tang! It rang like metal. Fully functional, as strong as steel, will last until I dismiss it or until it takes enough damage to break. He gestured at it, made from actual garbage. Hiruzen stood, walked around his desk, and examined the shield closely. His experienced eyes could spot the individual components. There was a pencil, there was paper, there was a lunch container, but they'd been transformed so thoroughly that they were barely recognizable. "The energy you're using," Hiruzen said carefully, "it's not chakra. Or rather, it's not only chakra. What is it? Honestly, I don't know what to call it." Naruto dismissed the shield, and it crumbled back into its component garbage, which he respectfully returned to the trash can. "It's like everything that's been thrown away carries a kind of energy with it. Pain, resentment, lost potential. When I touch something that's been discarded, I can feel all of that, and I can turn it into power." He held up his gloved hands. "These are called Jinki gloves. I don't know why I know that name. It just came to me the first time I used them. Vital instruments. That's what they let me create. I can transform up to 3 objects at once into weapons or tools, and if I focus all 3 slots on one thing." He smiled thinly. "Well, that's when things get really interesting. And the more something has been discarded, the more power you gain from it," Hiruzen said thoughtfully. "Exactly." Naruto's expression darkened. "You know what has the most power? The things people cherished once. Weapons they loved, then broke and threw away. Tools they relied on that failed them once and got tossed. Those are the best because they carry both love and betrayal." He looked at the Hokage. "Kind of like me, right?" The room went very quiet. "Naruto," Iruka started. "It's fine." Naruto waved him off. "I know what I am. The Nine-Tails container, the demon brat, the village's greatest failure kept around because they can't figure out how to safely dispose of me." His voice was calm, factual. "I've known since I was 6. Didn't take a genius to figure out why everyone hated me on a specific date every year." Hiruzen's face looked 10 years older suddenly. "I'm sorry. I should have told you myself. Should have protected you better." Water under the bridge. Naruto's tone suggested it very much was not, but he wasn't going to waste energy on it. "Point is, I've adapted, I've learned, and now I'm going to be a ninja whether people like it or not." He met the Hokage's eyes. "And I'm going to do it my way, with my powers, using the trash everyone else throws away to become stronger than all of them combined." "That power," Hiruzen said slowly, "could be incredibly valuable to the village, but it could also paint a target on your back. There are people who would want to study it, steal it, or simply eliminate it because they don't understand it. Let them try." Naruto's voice carried absolute confidence. "I've spent my whole life being worthless. Now I'm not. And anyone who wants to treat me like trash again is going to learn exactly how much damage trash can do." Hiruzen studied him for a long moment, then nodded. "I'm assigning you to Team 7. Your teammates will be Sasuke Uchiha and Sakura Haruno. Your Jonin instructor will be Kakashi Hatake." "The Uchiha prodigy and the Academy's top kunoichi?" Naruto raised an eyebrow. "Pairing me with high performers. Think they'll balance out the dead last?" "I think," Hiruzen said with a slight smile, "that Kakashi will be very surprised at what his dead last student can actually do. Don't reveal your abilities unless necessary, Naruto. Keep some cards close to your chest." "I always do," Naruto said. He turned to leave, then paused at the door. "Hey, old man, thanks for not, dissecting me or trying to seal my powers or whatever." Hiruzen's laugh was tired but genuine. "I learned long ago that the things we try hardest to suppress are the ones that come back strongest. Your power is yours, Naruto. Use it well." Naruto nodded and left, his footsteps echoing down the hall. Iruka waited until he was gone, then looked at the Hokage. "He's changed. He's not the boy I taught." "No," Hiruzen agreed, relighting his pipe. "He's something far more interesting and far more dangerous." He exhaled smoke. "Let's hope Kakashi can handle him." The bell test was stupid. Naruto sat in a tree, watching Sasuke and Sakura fumble around trying to steal bells from Kakashi Hatake, and decided that the whole exercise was a waste of everyone's time. The Jonin was clearly testing teamwork, and the two bells thing was meant to force cooperation or create conflict. And it was all very textbook, so Naruto had opted out. He'd spent the last hour collecting things: broken kunai from the training posts, discarded wire from old traps, shattered practice swords left in the equipment shed, rusty chains from a fence that needed replacing. His gloves glowed intermittently as he touched each object, feeling out its history, its pain, its potential. By the time Kakashi finally got bored of toying with Sasuke and Sakura and tied them to posts, Naruto had quite the collection. "Well," Kakashi said, his visible eye curved in what might have been a smile under that mask. "It seems Naruto has decided not to participate. That's unfortunate. It means..." "It means," Naruto interrupted, dropping from the tree with an armful of scrap metal, "that I was busy getting ready." Kakashi's expression didn't change, but Naruto could see the tension enter his shoulders. Good. The Jonin was a sensor type, apparently. He could probably feel something wrong with the metal Naruto carried. "Getting ready for what?" Kakashi asked carefully. "To show you," Naruto said, his gloves erupting with neon light, blue, toxic green, hot pink, all at once, "that your bell test is trash." He threw the scrap metal into the air. Broken kunai, shattered swords, rusty chains, old wire, at least 24 objects, all spinning through the air in a glittering, deadly constellation. Vital instrument, arsenal manifest. The metal exploded with light. Each piece transformed simultaneously, marked with those graffiti-style neon symbols, and suddenly the air was filled with proper weapons. The broken kunai became wicked throwing knives. The shattered swords reformed into short swords that gleamed despite their pitted surfaces. The chains grew spikes and hooks. The wire became razor-sharp thread that sang in the wind, and all of it orbited Naruto like he was the center of a metal storm. Sasuke and Sakura's eyes went huge. Kakashi's eye narrowed. "What?" Sasuke started. Naruto pointed at the Jonin. The weapons moved with him, tracking his gesture like extensions of his will. "3 objects at a time is my limit," he said conversationally. "But objects can be collections. A handful of broken kunai counts as 1 object if I treat it as a set." He smiled, and it wasn't friendly. "So what you're looking at is technically 3 items. They just happen to contain about 30 individual pieces." "That's not possible," Sakura whispered. "Neither is a 12-year-old beating a Jonin," Naruto replied. "But let's see how it goes." He attacked. The weapons launched like missiles, whoosh, 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 filling the air with steel and light. Kakashi moved, but he was fast, substituting with a log, appearing in a tree, substituting again when 3 swords converged on his position. But Naruto wasn't trying to hit him. He was hurting him. The razor wire caught Kakashi's ankle mid-jump. The Jonin looked down in surprise, and the chains whipped around his wrists, and suddenly he was being yanked in 3 directions at once. He substituted again. Poof! But Naruto had already predicted it, and the next barrage of kunai forced him toward the training posts where Sasuke and Sakura were tied. "Wait," Kakashi said, alarm entering his voice. "If those weapons hit..." The chains and wire wrapped around the posts, not touching the Jonin, and yanked them free from the ropes binding them. Sasuke and Sakura tumbled to the ground, free, as the weapons simultaneously converged on Kakashi's new position. He was forced to dodge, to retreat, to actually take the fight seriously. Naruto walked forward calmly, his gloves blazing with light, weapons swirling around him like a cyberpunk angel's halo. "The bell test is about teamwork, right? About prioritizing comrades over mission objectives?" He gestured, and the weapons formed a wall between Kakashi and the Jonin. "Well, I just freed my teammates. That's teamwork. And now..." The weapons shifted, consolidating, merging. The broken kunai fused into a massive gauntlet around his right arm. The chains wrapped around his left, forming a whip. The swords orbited his head like a crown of blades. "Now I'm going to take those bells." He moved, fast, too fast. The chakra in his legs wasn't natural. It was supplemented by something else, that same energy his gloves used, and it launched him forward like a rocket. His gauntleted fist swung at Kakashi's head, and the Jonin had to lean back, had to actually dodge seriously, because the killing intent radiating off that transformed scrap metal was real. Boom! Naruto's fist hit a tree. The tree exploded into splinters. Ma, Kakashi said, hands up in a placating gesture. I think I've seen enough. Have you? Naruto's chain whip lashed out. Crack! Kakashi dodged, because I don't think you've seen anything yet. He pulled the chain back and thrust his gauntleted hand into the ground. The earth rippled. Stones and dirt lifted, marked with that neon glow, and added themselves to his weapons. His gauntlet grew larger, more spiked, more dangerous. Everything that's been thrown away, Naruto said, his voice echoing weirdly, becomes mine. This training ground has been used for decades. Do you know how much broken equipment is buried here? How many weapons snapped and were just left to rot? The ground cracked. More metal emerged, drawn to Naruto like iron to a magnet. Old kunai, broken tanto, shattered shuriken. All of it centuries old, some of it dating back to the first shinobi war, and all of it responded to his call. Kakashi's visible eye went wide. So here's my question, Sensei. Naruto's smile was sharp. Are you going to keep testing us? Or are you going to admit that I passed your stupid bell test the moment I prioritized getting my teammates free over fighting you? For a long moment, Kakashi just stared at him. Then he started laughing. Actually laughing, his shoulders shaking, one hand coming up to rub his visible eye. Okay, he said. Okay, you win. You all pass. Team 7 is officially formed. He looked at Naruto with something that might have been respect. Though I think we need to have a very long conversation about exactly what you just did. It's called Jinki, Naruto said, dismissing his weapons. They crumbled back into scrap, falling around him like metallic rain. Vital instruments. It's my bloodline ability. It wasn't, but that was the easiest explanation, and people would believe it. Your bloodline. Kakashi's tone suggested he didn't believe that for a second, but was willing to let it slide for now. Right. Well, that's certainly something. He pulled out 2 bells from his pocket and tossed them to Sasuke and Sakura, who caught them automatically. Congratulations, you're official Genin. Meet at the bridge tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. for your first mission. He vanished in a swirl of leaves, probably to go report to the Hokage immediately. Sasuke and Sakura stared at Naruto. What? Naruto said flatly. You're not the dead last, Sasuke said slowly. Never was. Naruto brushed dirt off his pants. I just let people think that because it was easier than explaining. He met Sasuke's eyes. And before you ask, no, I don't care about your clan's massacre. No, I won't help you get revenge. And no, I don't think you're special because you have the Sharingan. You're a teammate. That's it. You're not trash, so I won't throw you away, but don't expect me to worship you either. Sasuke's expression flickered through several emotions before settling on something that might have been grudging respect. Fine. And you, Naruto turned to Sakura, stop obsessing over him. It's embarrassing. If you want to be a strong kunoichi, actually train instead of watching Sasuke train. You've got good chakra control. Iruka-sensei mentioned it. Use it. Sakura's face went red. I don't. You do. Everyone knows. It's sad. Naruto started walking toward the village. 6 a.m. tomorrow. Don't be late. Kakashi might be lazy, but I'm not, and I don't carry dead weight on my team. He left them standing there, stunned. This was going to be interesting. The first 2 weeks of D-rank missions were exactly as boring as Naruto had feared. Catching cats, painting fences, weeding gardens. It was mind-numbing work that made him want to scream, but he did it anyway because he'd spent his entire childhood doing exactly this kind of labor. And at least now he was getting paid for it. Still, watching Sasuke struggle to catch Tora the cat, the demon beast had clawed the Uchiha's face 3 times, was pretty funny. Need help? Naruto called from where he sat on a roof. I don't need help from you, Sasuke growled, lunging for the cat again. Naruto shrugged, pulled out a piece of discarded fish from the restaurant below. Someone had thrown out perfectly good food, the monsters, and dangled it. Tora's nose twitched. The cat abandoned Sasuke immediately and trotted over to Naruto, who picked it up gently. Good kitty, he said, scratching behind its ears. People don't appreciate you, do they? Think you're a monster just because you scratch sometimes? Tora purred. Sasuke glared. Sakura giggled. Kakashi's eye curved in amusement. They returned Tora to the fire daimyo's wife, collected their payment, and trudged back to the mission desk. Another day, another pointless task completed. But then Hiruzen smiled behind his desk and said, I think Team 7 is ready for something more challenging. We've received a C-rank mission request from the Land of Waves. You'll be escorting a bridge builder named Tazuna back to his home country. Naruto's instincts immediately screamed danger, but he kept his face neutral. A C-rank mission to a poor country? That sounded like the setup for something complicated. When do we leave? Kakashi asked. Tomorrow morning. Be at the village gates by 8 a.m. They left the Hokage Tower, and Sakura was practically vibrating with excitement. A real mission. Outside the village. This is amazing. Don't get your hopes up, Naruto said quietly. Something feels off about this. Sasuke glanced at him. What do you mean? Think about it. The Land of Waves is poor, right? Barely any economy. But they're paying for a C-rank escort mission? That's expensive for them. Either they're desperate or they're lying about the mission rank. Naruto's eyes narrowed. My guess, both. You're paranoid, Sakura said. I'm careful, Naruto corrected. There's a difference. Tazuna smelled like alcohol and lies. Naruto could tell within 5 minutes of meeting the bridge builder that the old man was hiding something. He was too nervous, too defensive, and the way his eyes kept darting around suggested he expected trouble. But Kakashi had accepted the mission, so they were going regardless. They walked through the forest outside Konoha, making good time toward the border. Sasuke was alert. Sakura was chattering about something. Kakashi had his nose in a book, and Naruto was collecting things. A broken branch here, some discarded wire there, a rusty can, someone had littered. His gloves pulsed faintly with each acquisition, the objects disappearing into what Naruto thought of as his inventory, a space where transformed objects waited to be called forth. He was collecting ammo. The puddle on the ground was the first real clue. It hadn't rained in days. The surrounding earth was dry, and yet there was this perfectly placed puddle right in the middle of the road. Naruto said nothing. Neither did Kakashi. But Sasuke's hand twitched toward his kunai pouch, so at least one teammate had noticed. They walked past the puddle. Splash! The demon brothers emerged from the water, chains connecting them, and lunged at Kakashi. The chains wrapped around the jonin, and with a twist and a yank, they tore him apart. Blood and chunks of flesh scattered across the road. Sakura screamed. Sasuke moved, pulling kunai, getting between the attackers and Tazuna. Naruto just sighed. Really? You're using the exploding chain technique? That's your opening move? The demon brothers, Gozu and Meizu, though Naruto didn't know their names yet, turned toward him. The brat figured it out, one of them growled. Of course I figured it out. Your chains are poisoned. That means you're expecting to scratch someone and let the poison do the work, not rely on the chains themselves to kill. Naruto held up his gloved hands, and they erupted with neon light, which means you specialize in hit-and-run tactics. Fast strikes, poison delivery, retreat before the target can counter. He smiled. Too bad for you. I don't play fair. The broken branch he'd collected earlier materialized in his hand, already transformed. It was a staff now, covered in toxic green and blue markings, humming with power. He slammed it into the ground, and the impact sent out a shockwave that knocked both demon brothers off balance. Vital instrument, chain breaker. He swung the staff. It extended mid-swing, whoosh, and caught both brothers' connecting chain. The chain shattered. The brothers were thrown in opposite directions, their signature technique destroyed in one hit. Sasuke, Naruto said calmly, left one's yours. He moved on the right brother before the demon brother could recover, staff spinning in his hands with practiced ease. The transformed branch was light, but hit like a sledgehammer, and each strike left neon trails in the air. Thwack, crack, boom! The brother tried to block with his gauntlet. The gauntlet bent. The brother's arm broke. Where's Zabuza? Naruto asked, his staff pressing into the brother's throat. Ah! The demon of the hidden mist. Your employer? You're too skilled to be random missing nine, and your chain work is signature Kirigakure Academy style. Naruto pressed harder. So where? Is Zabuza? Go to hell, brat. Already there. Naruto knocked him unconscious with a casual strike and turned to see Sasuke finishing off the other brother with a combination of taijutsu and wire techniques. Decent work. The Uchiha was actually pretty skilled when he wasn't being an arrogant prick. Kakashi emerged from the trees, completely unharmed. Good work. You both noticed the ambush and reacted appropriately. You used a substitution before they even attacked, Sasuke said. You knew they were there. Of course. Kakashi's eye curved. I'm a jonin, but I wanted to see how you'd handle it. By letting Sakura think you died? Naruto's voice was flat. Great teaching strategy, sensei. Real confidence building. Sakura was still pale, clinging to Tazuna. Kakashi had the grace to look slightly ashamed. Anyway, Naruto said, turning to Tazuna. You want to tell us why Zabuza Momochi, one of the 7 swordsmen of the mist, is after you? Because this mission is definitely not C rank anymore. Tazuna went even paler than Sakura. How did you? I know things. Naruto crossed his arms. And I know that you're not being targeted by random bandits. Someone powerful wants you dead. Someone with resources. Which means this bridge you're building threatens someone important. Gato, Tazuna admitted finally. He's a shipping magnate who controls all trade in and out of the land of waves. My bridge would break his monopoly. He's hired ninja to kill me and stop construction. And you lied about the mission rank because you couldn't afford a proper escort, Kakashi finished. That's grounds for mission termination, Tazuna-san. Please, the old man bowed. I know I lied. I know I put you in danger. But if I die, the land of waves dies with me. Gato will bleed my country dry. My grandson will grow up in poverty. Everyone I love will suffer. He looked up, tears in his eyes. I'm not asking for pity. I'm begging for help. Silence. Then Naruto said, I vote we continue. Everyone looked at him. The man lied to protect his people, Naruto said. His home, his grandson. He's not throwing them away. He's fighting for them. That's not trash. That's admirable. He looked at Kakashi. Besides, if Zabuza's already involved, he'll just follow us back to Konoha if we quit. Better to face him now on our terms. Kakashi studied him for a moment, then nodded. Sasuke? Sakura? I'm not scared of some missing nin, Sasuke said immediately. If everyone else is going, I'll go too, Sakura said, though her voice shook. Then it's decided. Kakashi clapped his hands. Team 7 continues to the land of waves. But Tazuna-san, when we return to Konoha, you'll be paying the difference between C rank and A rank mission costs. I'll sell everything I own if I have to, Tazuna promised. They continued walking, but Naruto noticed Kakashi watching him with that assessing expression again. The Jonin was probably wondering what kind of person voted to help someone who'd lied to them. The answer was simple. Naruto understood what it was like to be thrown away, to be desperate, to have no choice but to gamble everything on a slim hope. He'd been that person his entire life. The boat ride across the water was tense. Thick mist rolled in, reducing visibility to almost nothing. Naruto could feel the moisture in the air, could taste the salt, and his instincts were screaming that something was wrong. Beside him, Sasuke had activated his Sharingan. The Tomoe spun slowly, scanning the mist. Can you see anything? Naruto asked quietly. Movement. In the water. Something big. That would be Zabuza's water clone watching us, Naruto said. Don't attack it. Let it think we're unaware. How do you know so much about him? I read. Naruto shrugged. Bingo books, mission reports. The library is free, Sasuke. You should try it sometime. The Uchiha scowled but said nothing. They reached the shore without incident, and the boat's captain refused to go any further. This is as far as I can take you safely. The bridge is 2 miles inland. Follow the main road. They disembarked and started walking through the forest. The mist got thicker, heavier, and then a massive sword spun through the air and lodged itself in a tree trunk ahead of them. It was huge, easily as tall as a person, with a blade shaped like an oversized butcher's cleaver and wrapped in bandages. Kubikira Bocho, the executioner's blade, one of the legendary 7 swords. Well, well, a voice said from the mist. Kakashi of the Sharingan, it's been a while. Zabuza Momochi stepped into view, standing on the handle of his sword with casual ease. He was tall, heavily muscled, his face wrapped in bandages except for his eyes, wearing camouflage pants and no shirt. The aura of killing intent rolling off him was thick enough to choke on. Sakura collapsed to her knees, gasping. Sasuke gritted his teeth, sweating. Even Tazuna looked ready to pass out. Naruto felt the killing intent wash over him and nothing. He'd spent 12 years bathed in the village's hate. This was just more of the same. Zabuza, Kakashi said, his lazy demeanor completely gone. He pulled up his headband, revealing the Sharingan eye beneath. You're after Tazuna. Smart boy, give him to me, and I'll let the rest of you live. You know I can't do that. Then you'll die. Zabuza pulled Kubikirabocho free from the tree. All of you. The mist thickened impossibly, turning the world white. Naruto couldn't see his hand in front of his face. Then Zabuza's voice coming from everywhere and nowhere. 8 points: larynx, spine, lungs, liver, jugular, collarbone, kidneys, heart. Which will it be? The killing intent spiked, and Sasuke's hand actually moved toward his own throat, ready to end it rather than face that pressure. Naruto grabbed his wrist. Don't, he said quietly. That's what he wants. The fear, the despair. He feeds on it. Kakashi appeared between them and Zabuza's rush, kunai blocking the massive sword. Get back! Protect Tazuna! The battle began. It was brutal. Zabuza was a Jonin-level combatant with a legendary blade, and even with the Sharingan, Kakashi was being pushed hard. They traded blows across the forest, water clones appearing and being destroyed, the mist making everything confusing and chaotic. And then Zabuza landed in a clearing, Kubikirabocho planted in the ground beside him, breathing hard. You're good, Kakashi, but I've fought Sharingan users before. I know all your tricks. He pulled the sword free, and Naruto moved, silent, fast, using a shunshin technique he'd learned from watching Kakashi. He appeared beside Kubikirabocho just as Zabuza yanked it up, and his gloved hand brushed the blade's handle. That was all he needed. Zabuza felt it immediately. The connection between him and his sword, forged over years of battle, suddenly weakened, frayed. Like someone had cut a string he didn't know existed. What? He started. You abandoned your sword, Naruto said, his gloves blazing with neon light. Toxic green this time, the color of rot and decay and things left to die. You stuck it in a tree and left it there while you fought, even for a second, even strategically. His orange eyes met Zabuza's. That's enough for me. He grabbed Kubikirabocho's handle with both hands. Vital instrument, severing blade reclamation. The sword erupted with light. Zabuza was thrown backward as his weapon rejected him, the connection severing completely, and Kubikirabocho began to transform. The bandages unwrapped themselves, revealing pitted, stained metal beneath. The blade was covered in nicks and scratches and rust spots. All the damage Zabuza had inflicted on it over years of use, all the wear he'd patched over with bandages and tape and denial. And Naruto fed power into that damage. The neon green markings spread across the blade like infection. The rust didn't vanish. It integrated, became aesthetic, became power. The nicks became serration. The scratches became channels for energy flow. The blade went from looking like a well-maintained weapon to looking like something that had been dragged through hell and loved every second of it. No! Zabuza roared. Lunging forward, Naruto lifted the transformed Kubikirabocho, the blade that was simultaneously lighter and heavier, that resonated with his energy perfectly, and swung. The wind pressure was insane. It tore through the mist like a hurricane, clearing the air completely, and sent Zabuza tumbling backward. Trees bent, the ground tore. Kakashi had to grab Sakura to keep her from being blown away. How is this possible? Zabuza demanded, scrambling to his feet. That's my sword, my partner. You can't just take it. You threw it away, Naruto said, his voice hard. Even for a second, even strategically. You treated it like a tool instead of a partner. He pointed the massive blade at Zabuza. And tools left behind, they become mine. He attacked. The transformed Kubikirabocho sang in his hands. Each swing left toxic green trails in the air. Each impact cracked the earth. Naruto moved with a grace that shouldn't have been possible for a genin wielding a blade that size, dancing around Zabuza's water clones, shattering them with shockwave slashes. That's impossible, Zabuza muttered, forming hand seals. Water style, water dragon jutsu. A massive serpent of water burst from the nearby lake, roaring toward Naruto with jaws that could swallow a house. Naruto planted the sword in the ground, and the earth around it glowed with neon markings. Full impact. He pulled the sword up and swung it at the incoming dragon. The blade met the water, and boom, the water dragon exploded. Not dispersed, exploded. Water droplets rained down like a storm, and the shockwave from the impact created a crater 10 meters wide. Zabuza was caught in the blast radius, thrown through 3 trees before finally stopping. He tried to stand. Couldn't. Blood ran from his mouth. "You're right," Naruto said, walking toward him with the transformed Kubikiribocho on his shoulder. "You have fought Sharingan users before. You know all their tricks." He stopped in front of the defeated missing nun. "But you've never fought someone like me. Someone who takes what you throw away and makes it better than it ever was in your hands." Zabuza stared at him with something between rage and respect. "Who are you, brat?" "Naruto Uzumaki, Konoha's garbage man." Naruto lifted the blade. "And you're going back to the village for interrogation." "I don't think so." Senbon needles rained down from the trees. 3 of them lodged in Zabuza's neck, precisely placed. The missing nin's eyes rolled back, and he collapsed, apparently dead. A figure appeared in a swirl of mist, small, wearing a hunter nin mask from Kirigakure, carrying more Senbon. "Thank you for weakening him," a soft voice said. "I've been tracking this criminal for months. I'll take the body and be on my way." Kakashi appeared beside Naruto, Sharingan scanning the newcomer. "A hunter nin from the mist. How convenient." "Quite." The masked figure picked up Zabuza's body with surprising strength. "Again, my thanks." They vanished in a shunshin silence. Then Kakashi said, "That was Zabuza's accomplice." "Obviously," Naruto agreed. "Hunter nin destroy bodies on sight. They don't carry them off. And those Senbon were placed to induce a death-like state, not kill." He looked at the transformed Kubikiribocho in his hands. "He'll be back, probably in a week, once he recovers." "How do you know it's a week?" "Because that's how long it takes for someone in a death-like state induced by those specific Senbon to wake up." Naruto smiled slightly. "I told you, Sensei, I read." Kakashi stared at him for a long moment, then started laughing again. That same tired, amused laugh from the bell test. "You're going to be a handful, aren't you? You have no idea." Tazuna's house was small but comfortable, smelling like miso soup and old wood. His daughter Tsunami was kind, her son Inari was sullen, and the whole family was clearly traumatized by Gado's reign. Naruto claimed a corner of the room they'd been given and spent the evening studying Kubikiribocho. The transformation had worn off after an hour, returning the blade to its normal state. But the connection remained. He could feel the sword's history, every battle Zabuza had fought, every person he'd killed, every moment of doubt and triumph. "You can't keep it," Sasuke said from across the room. "Why not?" "It's a legendary weapon belonging to a criminal. Konoha will want it for the vault." "Konoha can want all sorts of things," Naruto said mildly. "They wanted me to be a normal genin. They wanted me to be hated quietly. They wanted me to fail the academy." He ran his gloved hand along the blade's edge. "I'm getting really good at not giving people what they want." "It's not yours. It is now." Naruto looked at Sasuke. "That's how my power works. Once something's been discarded, even temporarily, I can claim it. Zabuza abandoned this sword in battle. That means it's mine." He paused. "Besides, I'm going to give it back." Sasuke blinked. "What?" "When Zabuza comes back, and he will, I'm going to let him reclaim Kubikiribocho." Naruto smiled. "But first I'm going to show him what it looks like when someone treats a weapon with actual respect. Maybe he'll learn something." "You're insane." "Probably." The week passed in training. Kakashi taught them tree walking, which Naruto mastered in an hour because he'd been supplementing his chakra with Jinki energy for years. Sasuke took 3 days. Sakura managed it in 2 and looked ridiculously proud of herself. Naruto spent his time exploring the surrounding area, collecting more materials. Broken construction equipment from the bridge site, discarded nails and screws, shattered glass, rusted rebar. His inventory grew, his gloves pulsing with each new acquisition. He also spent time with Inari, the kid who'd given up on heroes. "Why do you even bother?" Inari asked one night, watching Naruto sort through garbage. "You're going to die fighting Gado. Everyone who stands up to him dies." "Maybe," Naruto said, "but I'd rather die standing than live kneeling." "That's stupid. Dead is dead." "Yeah." Naruto held up a broken toy, looked like it used to be a wooden kunai. "But you know what's stupider? Giving up. Throwing away your dreams because someone told you they're worthless." He activated his gloves, and the toy transformed, became a real kunai with neon blue markings. "Everything has value, kid. Even the broken stuff. especially the broken stuff. You just have to find it. He handed the kunai to Inari. Hold on to this. When things get scary, and they will, remember that even trash can be treasure. Inari stared at the glowing weapon in his small hands, tears forming in his eyes. Zabuza returned exactly 1 week later with the masked accomplice, who introduced themselves as Haku, at his side. The battle took place on the incomplete bridge at dawn. Mist rolled in, thick and choking. Zabuza stood at one end with Kubikirabocho in hand, while Team 7 and Tazuna stood at the other. I'm impressed you figured out the fake death trick, Zabuza called through the mist. Most Genin wouldn't have noticed. Most Genin are idiots, Naruto called back. I'm not most Genin. Clearly. Zabuza's killing intent spiked. Haku, deal with the brats. I'll handle Kakashi. Yes, Zabuza-sama. Haku moved, and suddenly they were surrounded by ice mirrors, dozens of them, forming a dome that trapped Sasuke and Naruto inside. Kakashi tried to intervene, but Zabuza engaged him immediately, their blades clashing with sounds like thunder. Inside the mirror dome, Haku's reflection appeared in every surface. I'm sorry, they said, and they actually sounded sorry. But you're in the way of Zabuza-sama's dream. I must eliminate you. Senbon needles rained down from every direction. Sasuke moved, trying to dodge, but there were too many. Needles pierced his shoulder, his leg, his arm. He dropped to one knee, blood spreading across the bridge. Naruto didn't dodge. The needles bounced off him. Not literally. They hit him. But the moment they touched his skin, they fell away harmlessly. Because Naruto had done something clever. He'd transformed his jacket. The tattered orange thing he always wore. The jacket that was too big and too old and had been thrown away by someone else before he'd claimed it, now glowed faintly with neon patterns only visible up close. It had become armor, flexible and light, but hard enough to deflect the Senbon. Interesting, Haku said. You have some kind of defensive ability. Something like that. Naruto looked around at the mirrors, at the dozens of broken Senbon littering the ground. You know, Haku, I'm curious about something. More needles. Naruto let them bounce off. These Senbon, he continued conversationally. You use them and leave them. They break, you make more. You go through hundreds in every fight. He knelt down and picked up one of the broken needles. Do you know how much pain these things carry? How much death? His gloves erupted with light. Purple this time, the color of bruises and old wounds. Let me show you. He grabbed as many broken Senbon as he could hold, maybe 50 of them, and activated his power. The needles exploded with light, fusing together, merging into something new. What emerged was a gauntlet covering Naruto's right arm from fingertips to elbow. It was made entirely of compressed Senbon needles, thousands of them layered and woven and transformed, all marked with purple and white neon patterns. The thing looked like it was covered in spikes, each one wickedly sharp. Vital instrument, acupuncture hell. He punched the air in front of him. The shockwave was purple-white and absolutely devastating. It tore through 3 of Haku's ice mirrors, shattering them completely. The sound was like glass breaking mixed with nails on a chalkboard. Haku appeared in the dome, no longer hiding in reflections. That's impossible. Those were discarded needles. Trash. There's that word again. Naruto's voice went cold. You people really need to learn. Nothing is trash until I say it is. He attacked. The gauntlet made him faster somehow. Maybe because it carried the memory of all those Senbon attacks. All that speed and precision. He moved through the mirror dome like a whirlwind, each punch shattering another mirror. The purple neon trails painting the air. Haku tried to retreat, tried to re-establish distance, but Naruto was relentless. He could feel the needles crying out, all that accumulated pain from being used and discarded and used again. And he channeled it into pure kinetic force. Why? Haku asked, deflecting one of Naruto's strikes with an ice shield. Why do you fight so hard for someone who lied to you? For a mission that isn't even real? Because Tazuna's not trash, Naruto said. And neither is his dream. And neither are the people of this country. He slammed his gauntlet into another mirror. Shatter. You and Zabuza, you're tools for Gado. He's going to throw you away the second you're not useful. I know, Haku said quietly, but I'm fine with that. As long as Zabuza-sama needs me, I have purpose. That's the saddest thing I've ever heard. Naruto caught Haku mid-movement, grabbed them by the wrist with his normal hand and pulled them close. His orange eyes met their brown ones through the mask. "You're not a tool," he said firmly. "You're a person, and people have value beyond their usefulness. Zabuza might not see it, but I do." Haku's eyes went wide. "You?" The remaining mirrors shattered from the outside. Sasuke had awakened his second tome and could finally track Haku's movements. The Uchiha looked battered and bloody but determined. "Naruto, move!" he shouted. "I've got a clear shot!" "Stand down, Sasuke," Naruto said, still holding Haku. "What? They tried to kill us. They failed." Naruto released Haku and stepped back. "Look, this is going to sound weird, but I don't think killing Haku helps anyone. They're being used, exploited, treated like a disposable weapon." He looked at Haku. "And I don't let people throw away useful things, especially people. You want me to just let them go?" Sasuke looked incredulous. "I want you to trust me." Before Sasuke could respond, a massive explosion of chakra erupted from where Kakashi and Zabuza were fighting. They turned to see the Jonin clash had reached its climax. Zabuza was preparing a massive water-style jutsu. Kakashi was channeling lightning in his hand. "Zabuza-sama!" Haku moved to intervene. Naruto caught their arm. "Don't. If you jump in there, you'll die. Both of those techniques will kill you instantly." "I don't care. If Zabuza-sama needs, he doesn't need your death," Naruto said harshly. "He needs your life. Trust me." The jutsus collided. Water Dragon and Lightning Blade met in an explosion of steam and electricity. When the mist cleared, both ninja were down, exhausted, barely conscious. And then Gato arrived. The crime boss walked onto the bridge with an army of thugs behind him. Maybe 50 men, all armed with swords and clubs and spears. He was a short, greasy man wearing sunglasses and expensive clothes, radiating the kind of arrogance that came from thinking money made you invincible. "Well, well," Gato said, his voice nasal and mocking. "Looks like the mighty demon of the mist finally bit off more than he could chew." Zabuza tried to stand, failed, collapsed back to his knees. "Gato, we had a deal. We did, and you failed to deliver." Gato smiled, "Which means the deal is off. Boys, kill everyone. The ninja, the bridge builder, everyone. No witnesses." The thugs advanced, weapons ready. Naruto stepped forward. "Sensei," he said to Kakashi, "take a break. I've got this." "Naruto, there are 50 of them. I know." His gloves blazed with light, blue, green, purple all at once, and there's an entire bridge made of metal and wood and stone. All the construction equipment, all the discarded materials from months of building. He smiled, and it was sharp enough to cut. "Who do you think has the advantage here?" He slammed his gloved hands onto the bridge. The entire structure lit up with neon markings. "Vital instrument, construction site golem." The bridge screamed. Metal beams tore themselves free from the structure. Concrete pylons cracked and shifted. Wooden planks rotated and locked together. Cables snapped and removed themselves. Discarded equipment, hammers, saws, nails, screws, bolts, flew through the air and assembled. And behind Naruto, a giant took form. It was 20 meters tall, made entirely of construction materials, held together by pure Jinki energy. Its body was concrete and stone. Its arms were metal beams. Its hands were made of compressed nails and screws. Its head was a pile of wooden planks arranged in a vaguely humanoid shape, and all of it glowed with those signature neon graffiti markings, blues and greens and purples spiraling across every surface. The construction golem stood behind Naruto like a guardian deity, casting its shadow across the bridge, and Gato's thugs collectively took 3 steps backward. "Holy shit!" one of them whispered. "What the hell is that?" another screamed. Gato's face went pale. "Kill them! Kill them now!" The thugs charged, screaming, waving their weapons. Naruto gestured, and the golem moved. One massive hand came down on a group of 10 thugs. It didn't crush them. Naruto wasn't a murderer, but it pinned them to the bridge with enough force that they couldn't move. The other hand swept sideways and sent another 15 flying into the water. The golem's head rotated, and wooden planks shot out like projectiles, knocking weapons from hands, tripping runners, creating barriers. The whole thing moved with surprising grace for something so large, and Naruto directed it like a conductor leading an orchestra. "Keep going," he called to the remaining thugs. "I've got ammo for days." They broke, just completely broke. Thugs started jumping off the bridge into the water. Others ran back the way they came, and within 60 seconds, Gato's entire army had scattered. The crime boss himself tried to run, but Naruto sent a cable whipping out to wrap around his ankle. Gato fell flat on his face, expensive sunglasses skittering away. "You hired Zabuza and Haku to kill Tazuna," Naruto said, walking toward him. The golem dissolved behind him, materials settling back into place, the bridge returning to normal. "You threatened an entire country, you exploited people's poverty, you threw away your humanity for profit." He stood over Gato, and his expression was utterly disgusted. "And worst of all, you're not even good at being evil. You're pathetic." He knocked Gato unconscious with a single punch. Silence fell over the bridge. Then Inari's voice, from where he'd been watching with the other villagers, "That was amazing!" The crowd erupted into cheers. People who'd been hiding, who'd been terrified, suddenly surged forward, surrounding Team 7, thanking them, crying, laughing. Tazuna grabbed Naruto in a crushing hug. "You saved us, boy. You saved all of us." "Just doing my job," Naruto said, but he was smiling. A real smile. Zabuza, still on his knees, watched all this with an unreadable expression. Finally, he said, "Hey, brat, garbage man." Naruto looked at him. "You were right," Zabuza admitted, "about the sword, about me treating it like a tool instead of a partner." He gestured weakly at Kubikira Bocho, still lying where he dropped it. "You respected it more in one fight than I did in 10 years. That's humbling." Naruto walked over, picked up the massive blade, and carried it back to Zabuza. He planted it in the ground in front of the missing nin. "Take it back," Naruto said. "But this time remember, your weapon is your partner, not your tool. Partners deserve respect." Zabuza stared at the sword, then at Naruto, then started laughing. It was a rough, broken sound like he'd forgotten how. "You're a weird kid, you know that?" "I've been told." Haku appeared beside Zabuza, helping him to his feet. "What do we do now, Zabuza-sama? Gato's defeated. The mission is over." Zabuza looked at the bridge, at the celebrating villagers, at Team 7. "I don't know," he admitted. "For the first time in years, I actually don't know." "Figure it out," Naruto suggested. "But maybe try not being a missing 9. I hear it's terrible for your health." Against all odds, Zabuza laughed again. They stayed in the land of waves for another week while Tazuna finished the bridge. Zabuza and Haku stuck around too, partly because they were both too injured to travel, partly because Naruto had convinced them to consider turning themselves in for potential amnesty. "Konoha has a program for reformed missing nin," Kakashi explained one evening. "It's not easy, and you'd be on probation for years, but it's better than looking over your shoulder forever." "I'll think about it," Zabuza said, which was more than anyone expected. On the last day, the bridge was completed. Tazuna gathered everyone for the naming ceremony, standing on the finished structure with his family and what seemed like the entire population of the Land of Waves. "This bridge," he announced, his voice carrying across the water, "was built with the help of heroes. Ninja who could have abandoned us but didn't. Who fought for us even though we couldn't pay them properly. Who showed us that we weren't trash to be thrown away." He looked directly at Naruto. "And so, with everyone's approval, I'm naming this bridge after the person who saved us all. The person who taught us that even broken things have value. Ladies and gentlemen, I present the Great Naruto Bridge." The crowd roared. Naruto blinked, genuinely surprised. "You named it after me? Who else would we name it after?" Tsunami said, smiling. "You saved our country." Inari ran up and hugged Naruto around the waist. "You're my hero." Naruto awkwardly patted the kid's head, looking uncomfortable with the attention, but also pleased. Like maybe this was the first time people had genuinely thanked him for existing. Sakura watched this with an odd expression. She'd been reevaluating Naruto all week, seeing him differently. Not as the annoying dead last, but as someone powerful, capable, and surprisingly kind. It was confusing. Sasuke just looked annoyed. But that was normal for him. Kakashi's visible eye curved in what might have been pride. They left the Land of Waves the next morning, waving goodbye to Tazuna and his family, with promises to visit someday. Zabuza and Haku split off at the border, heading toward Konoha by a different route to discuss their potential surrender. "Think they'll actually go through with it?" Sasuke asked. 50-50, Naruto said. "But I hope so. They're not bad people, just people who made bad choices and couldn't find a way back." "You're too forgiving?" "Maybe," Naruto shrugged. "Or maybe I just understand what it's like to be thrown away. They walked in silence for a while, heading back toward Konoha, toward their next mission, toward whatever came next. And Naruto found himself looking forward to it. The shonen exams announcement came a month later. Team 7 had completed another dozen missions, all of them D rank, all of them boring, all of them making Naruto want to tear his hair out. So when Kakashi casually mentioned that he was nominating them for the Chunin exams, both Sasuke and Naruto immediately agreed. Sakura looked terrified, but she agreed too, probably because she didn't want to seem weak. The first test was a written exam designed to test intelligence gathering and deception. Naruto thought it was stupid. He could read the answers off nearby genin using his peripheral vision, but he played along, filling out most of the test with deliberately mediocre answers. The proctor was Ibiki Morino, a scarred man with a terrifying presence and even more terrifying reputation. He explained the 10th question. They could choose to take it or forfeit. Forfeit, and they'd have to wait until next year. Take it and get it wrong, and they'd be barred from ever taking the Chunin exams again. It was a bluff, obviously. The question was designed to test courage under pressure, and Naruto almost laughed out loud at how transparent it was. When Ibiki asked who wanted to forfeit, Naruto raised his hand. Everyone stared at him. Naruto? Sakura whispered, panicked. Just kidding, Naruto said, lowering his hand. I was stretching. Carry on. Ibiki's eye twitched. Sasuke made a sound that might have been a suppressed laugh. The second test took place in the Forest of Death, a massive training ground filled with dangerous animals, hostile terrain, and 48 hours to survive. Teams had to collect 2 scrolls, Heaven and Earth, to advance. This is going to be fun, Naruto said, hefting his pack. 48 hours of camping and fighting. It's like a vacation. It's called the Forest of Death, Sakura said weakly. So? I've lived in Konoha for 12 years. This will be less hostile. They entered the forest, and immediately Naruto started collecting materials, broken branches, discarded kunai from previous exams, animal bones that littered the ground, vines, rocks. His inventory grew rapidly. Why are you picking up garbage? Sasuke demanded. It's not garbage. It's ammunition. 3 hours in, they were ambushed by a rain team. The enemy ninja came at them with coordinated attacks, water techniques, and senbon needles, clearly planning to overwhelm them quickly. Naruto sighed, activated his gloves, and transformed every stick and stone within 10 meters into a floating wall of projectiles. Vital instrument, forest debris storm. The rain team didn't stand a chance. They were pelted with rocks and branches, moving at lethal velocity, knocked unconscious within seconds, their scroll stolen before they hit the ground. That was anticlimactic, Sasuke muttered. You want me to let them hurt you next time? Make it more sporting? No. They claimed a clearing to rest, and that's when Orochimaru appeared. The Sannin emerged from the trees like a nightmare-given form, his snake-like eyes gleaming with malicious interest, his entire presence radiating wrongness. The grass beneath him withered, small animals fled, even the air seemed colder. Well, well, he hissed, his voice like silk over razors. What interesting specimens, particularly you. His gaze locked onto Naruto. That energy, that power, what are you, child? None of your business, Naruto said, positioning himself between Orochimaru and his teammates. His gloves were already glowing. You're Orochimaru of the Sannin, Konoha's most famous traitor. What are you doing in the Chunin exams? Observing, testing, collecting. Orochimaru smiled, and it was horrible. And I think I'd very much like to collect you. He moved, fast, too fast. His hand shot toward Naruto's throat, fingers elongated into claws, and Naruto barely managed to dodge. The attack scored his shoulder, drawing blood, and the pain was immediate and searing. Poison, Orochimaru said pleasantly. Paralytic. You'll be unconscious in 30 seconds. Naruto gritted his teeth, fighting the numbness already spreading through his arm, and grabbed a handful of nearby grass. Dead grass, dried and brittle and worthless. Vital instrument, he gasped. Binding veil. The grass exploded with yellow-green neon light, multiplying, growing, weaving together into thick ropes that shot toward Orochimaru. The Sannin dodged, but more ropes emerged and more, until he was forced to substitute away. Fascinating, Orochimaru said from a tree branch. You transform organic matter, enhance it, give it properties it shouldn't possess. His tongue flicked out, obscenely long. I must have you. He formed hand seals, and suddenly a massive snake erupted from his sleeves, jaws wide enough to swallow a person whole. The snake lunged at Naruto, and Naruto grabbed its jaw with his gloved hands. The snake thrashed. Naruto held on. His gloves blazed with light, and the snake's skin began to glow. Orochimaru's eyes widened. You wouldn't. Vital instrument summoned beast reclamation. The snake transformed. Its scales, which had been dark green, turned toxic neon green. Its eyes glowed purple. Its body, which had been under Orochimaru's control, suddenly belonged to Naruto. The redirected snake turned on its former master, striking with lethal intent. Orochimaru substituted again, this time putting real distance between them. Impossible! That was my summoning, my chakra! Was? Naruto agreed, breathing hard. The poison was fighting his Jinki energy, and it was taking everything he had to stay conscious. But you sent it at me, attacked me with it. That makes it an object discarded in battle. He smiled through gritted teeth. And discarded objects are mine. The transformed snake coiled around Naruto protectively, hissing at Orochimaru. The Shonen stared for a long moment, then started laughing. It was a broken, delighted sound. Magnificent, absolutely magnificent. You're even more interesting than Sasuke. He wiped his eyes. Oh, I'm definitely keeping an eye on you, Naruto-kun. We'll meet again, I promise. He shed his skin, literally, the disgusting technique leaving a husk behind, and vanished into the forest. The snake Naruto had claimed dissolved into light, returning to wherever summoned creatures went when dismissed. Naruto collapsed, the poison finally overwhelming his system. The last thing he saw before losing consciousness was Sasuke and Sakura running toward him, their faces pale with fear. He woke up 2 days later in a medical tent at the center of the forest of death. His shoulder was bandaged, his head was pounding, and Sakura was asleep in a chair beside his bed. You're awake, Kakashi said from the doorway. Good. We need to talk about what happened. Orochimaru attacked us, Naruto said hoarsely. I'm guessing you already know that. We do. The Hokage has increased security, and Anbu are searching the forest, but Orochimaru is too skilled to be caught if he doesn't want to be. Kakashi's visible eye was serious. What did he want? To collect me, his word. Naruto touched his bandaged shoulder. He was interested in my powers, wanted to study them, maybe steal them. I don't know. And you fought him off? Barely. If he'd been serious about killing me, I'd be dead. Naruto looked at his hands. I got lucky. He was curious, not murderous. Still, you survived an encounter with one of the Sannin. That's impressive. Kakashi paused. The proctors found Orochimaru's shed skin. They also found multiple rain teams unconscious with strange wounds. Looked like they'd been hit by transformed projectiles. Yeah, that was me. They attacked first. I'm not criticizing. I'm explaining why people are talking about you. Kakashi sat down. Naruto, you've been hiding your strength your entire life, but the Chunin exams are public. People from other villages are watching. They're going to see what you can do, and they're going to have questions. Let them ask. Naruto's voice was flat. I'm tired of hiding, tired of pretending to be weak. If people want to know what I can do, they can watch the fights and find out. Kakashi studied him for a moment, then nodded. Fair enough. Just be prepared for the consequences. Fame is a double-edged sword. I know, but I'm not going to apologize for being strong. The preliminaries took place in an arena beneath the tower. 21 teams had passed the second test, meaning too many genin for the finals. They needed to narrow it down. The matchups were random, determined by an electronic board. Naruto's first match was against Kiba Inuzuka. Perfect. Kiba was a loud, arrogant kid from a prominent clan who'd mocked Naruto back in the academy. He had a ninja dog named Akamaru and specialized in aggressive taijutsu and tracking techniques. You smell like a garbage dump, loser, Kiba said as they faced off in the arena. This is going to be embarrassing for you. Naruto said nothing, just stood there, hands in his pockets, gloves hidden but ready. Proctor, start the match. I want to get this over with. The proctor, a sick-looking jonin named Hayate, coughed and raised his hand. Begin. Kiba charged immediately, Akamaru riding on his head. Fang over fang. They spun into a tornado of claws and teeth, tearing across the arena floor, heading straight for Naruto. Naruto touched the ground with one gloved hand. Vital instrument. Debris storm. The arena floor exploded. Concrete tiles ripped themselves free, breaking apart into dozens of chunks that immediately began orbiting Naruto like satellites. He gestured lazily, and the chunks launched themselves at Kiba's spinning attack. Rock met flesh with brutal efficiency. Crack! Thud! Boom! Kiba and Akamaru were knocked out of their technique, sent tumbling across the arena. Before they could recover, more rocks pelted them, each one hitting with bone-bruising force. "Stop!" Kiba shouted. "We surrender!" Naruto gestured again, and the rocks settled gently back to the floor. The arena was completely silent. Then someone in the audience, Naruto couldn't see who, started clapping. Others joined. Within seconds, the whole crowd was applauding. "Winner, Naruto Uzumaki," Hayate announced. Naruto walked off the arena floor, ignoring the stares, and returned to where Team 7 was sitting. Sakura looked shocked. Sasuke looked thoughtful. "That was cruel," Sakura said quietly. "That was efficient," Naruto corrected. "Kiba's a bully who spent years mocking people he thinks are beneath him. I'm not going to apologize for embarrassing him." The other matches proceeded. Sasuke fought Yoroi and won with pure taijutsu. Sakura fought Ino and somehow managed to win after a brutal fistfight that left both of them exhausted. Shikamaru fought Ken and won through clever use of his shadow possession. And then the board showed. Hinata Hyuga versus Neji Hyuga. Naruto paid attention to this one. He'd noticed Hinata before, the shy girl with the Byakugan who always seemed to be watching him from a distance. She was kind, gentle, and according to rumors, completely outclassed by her prodigy cousin. The match was brutal. Neji attacked without mercy, striking Hinata's Tenketsu points to seal her chakra, all while lecturing her about fate and destiny and how she was born to lose. "You're weak because you were born weak," Neji said coldly. "The main branch in the branch family. The strong and the weak, it's all predetermined. You can't change fate." Hinata tried to fight back, but she was too damaged, too exhausted. She collapsed to her knees, blood on her lips. "Just give up," Neji said. "Stop embarrassing yourself." I never go back on my word," Hinata whispered. That's my ninja way." She tried to stand. Neji moved to finish her, and Naruto almost intervened. He was already moving toward the arena floor when Might Guy appeared and stopped Neji's attack. "Match winner, Neji Hyuga." Medics rushed Hinata away on a stretcher. Neji stood in the arena, looking smug. And Naruto made a promise to himself. If he faced Neji in the finals, he was going to make the prodigy eat every word. The finals were scheduled for 1 month later, giving the winners time to train and prepare. Naruto spent the time collecting materials from all over Konoha, the abandoned districts, the old battle sites, the junkyards. His inventory had never been larger. He also spent time with Hinata, who'd been released from the hospital after 3 days, but was still recovering. They met in a small tea shop, sitting in a quiet corner where they wouldn't be disturbed. "I wanted to thank you," Hinata said quietly, not meeting his eyes. "During the preliminaries, you were going to help me. I saw you moving." "You shouldn't have to fight someone who wants to hurt you just to prove a point," Naruto said. "Neji's got issues. He's right, though, about fate, about me being weak." Her voice was barely audible. "I've always been a failure. The clan thinks I'm trash." Naruto set down his teacup with a sharp clink that made Hinata flinch. "Don't," he said firmly. "Don't call yourself trash. Don't let other people call you trash. You know why?" She shook her head. "Because trash is only trash if you let it be, if you decide it has no value." He leaned forward. "You're kind, you're gentle, you care about people. Those are valuable things, Hinata. The fact that your clan doesn't see it, that's their failure, not yours." Tears formed in her eyes. "But I'm weak. I can't even beat my cousin." "So get stronger, train, learn, grow." Naruto smiled. "And remember, some of the strongest things in the world started out as trash. They just needed someone to believe in them." Hinata stared at him for a long moment, then smiled. It was small and tentative, but real. "Thank you, Naruto-kun." After that, they trained together occasionally. Naruto couldn't teach her Jinki. That was his unique ability. But he could teach her how to see value in things others dismissed, how to use the environment, how to fight dirty when necessary. By the time the finals arrived, Hinata had a new confidence in her eyes. The Chunin exam finals were a massive public event. Thousands of people attended, civilians, ninja, foreign dignitaries. The Hokage sat in a special box with the Kazekage. Vendors sold food and drinks. It was a festival atmosphere. Naruto stood in the competitor waiting area, watching the crowd, and felt nothing. No nerves, no fear, just calm anticipation. His first match was against a sound genin named Dosu. The guy used sound-based attacks, which was interesting but ultimately ineffective against someone who could transform environmental objects into shields. The fight lasted 3 minutes. Naruto used discarded wire from the arena floor to create a binding net, caught Dosu mid-attack, and slammed him into the ground hard enough to crack concrete. Winner, Naruto Uzumaki. His second match was supposed to be against Sasuke, but the Uchiha was late, off training with Kakashi somewhere, so the match was postponed. Then came the matchup everyone was waiting for, Naruto versus Neji Hyuga. They stood across from each other in the arena, and the crowd's noise faded to a dull roar in Naruto's ears. All he could see was Neji's smug expression and that arrogant certainty that he'd already won. "You're the dead last," Neji said. "A failure, someone born to lose. Fate has already decided this match." "Yeah?" Naruto's gloves blazed with light, blue, green, purple, all at once. "Let me tell you something about fate, Neji. It's trash." He slammed both hands onto the arena floor. "Vital instrument. Trash collection golem." The entire arena responded, every piece of broken concrete from previous matches, every discarded kunai and shuriken embedded in the walls, every chip of paint, every crack, every tiny piece of debris that had accumulated over the arena's long history. All of it lifted. All of it glowed with neon markings. All of it began to assemble. Behind Naruto, rising like a monument to everything discarded and forgotten, a golem took form. It was even larger than the one he'd used in the Land of Waves, easily 30 meters tall, made from layers and layers of compressed debris. Its body was broken concrete fused together. Its arms were twisted rebar and shattered wood. Its hands were made of thousands of discarded weapons all melted and reformed. Its head was a mass of compacted trash that somehow resembled a face. And every single centimeter glowed with those graffiti-style neon markings, blues and greens and purples spiraling across its surface in mesmerizing patterns. The crowd went absolutely silent. Then someone screamed. Then everyone was screaming, either in terror or excitement or both. The Hokage stood up in his box, eyes wide. Neji stared up at the golem, his Byakugan active, and Naruto could see the exact moment he realized how utterly outmatched he was. "This," Naruto said, his voice carrying across the arena, "is the accumulated value of everything thrown away. Every object discarded as worthless, every tool broken and abandoned, every piece of trash that people like you decided had no worth." He pointed at Neji. "You think being born into the branch family makes you trash? You think fate decided you'd be weak?" His orange eyes blazed. "Then watch what happens when trash fights back." The golem moved. One massive hand came down toward Neji. The Hyuga tried to dodge, but the hand was too large, too fast. It caught him mid-leap and pressed him to the ground with the gentleness of someone handling something precious. Because despite everything, Naruto wasn't trying to kill him, just teach him a lesson. Neji activated 8 trigrams rotation, spinning like a top, trying to deflect the hand. The rotation technique was flawless, a perfect sphere of chakra that could deflect almost any attack. The golem's hand pressed harder. The rotation shattered. Not because the golem was using force, because it was using accumulated value. Every piece of trash that made up the golem carried emotional weight, pain, abandonment, the ache of being thrown away. And that collective emotion was heavier than any physical force. Neji's rotation couldn't deflect feelings. The hand pinned him completely, spread across the entire arena floor, and Neji realized with dawning horror that he couldn't move. At all. He was trapped beneath the literal weight of discarded history. "Do you give up?" Naruto asked calmly. Neji tried to answer, couldn't, managed a small nod. Naruto dismissed the golem. The construct crumbled back into its component pieces, rocks and metal and wood and trash, all of it settling gently around Neji like snowfall. The arena was silent. Then Might Guy started clapping. Others joined. Within seconds, the entire crowd was on its feet, applauding, cheering, some people crying. "Winner, Naruto Uzumaki," the proctor announced. Naruto walked over to where Neji lay buried under debris and offered his hand. "You're not trash, Neji. You never were, but you also don't get to decide who else is trash. That's not how it works." Neji stared at the offered hand, then slowly reached up and took it. Naruto pulled him to his feet. Figure out who you want to be, Naruto said quietly, not who fate decided you should be, and stop treating people like they're worthless, because everyone has value, even the things you throw away. He walked off the arena floor, leaving Neji standing there covered in dust and clearly rethinking his entire philosophy. In the stands, Hinata was crying happily. In the competitor area, Sasuke looked troubled, and in the Hokage's box, Hiruzen was smiling with something that looked like pride. The rest of the finals proceeded without incident. Sasuke finally showed up and fought some sand genin named Gaara. The match was intense. Gaara had some kind of automatic sand defense and was clearly unstable, but Sasuke managed to win through speed and his newly developed Chidori technique. Then something exploded. Literally. The stadium filled with smoke and screaming as Sound and Sand Ninja revealed themselves in the stands, attacking spectators and Konoha forces. Massive snakes erupted from the forest outside the village. The Kazekage attacked the Hokage in his box. It was an invasion. "Protect the civilians," Kakashi shouted, appearing beside Team 7 in a swirl of leaves. "Get them to the shelters." "What about the Hokage?" Sakura asked. "Anbu are handling it. You three focus on evacuation." They split up. Sasuke went to help Anbu. Sakura ran to the medical tents. And Naruto looked around at the chaos, at the fear, and made a decision. He jumped onto the arena floor, right into the center of the stadium where everyone could see him. "Hey!" he shouted, his voice enhanced by channeling Jinki energy through his throat. "Everyone having fun?" Sound Ninja turned to look at him. Sand Ninja paused their attacks. Civilians who were running stopped. "Because I'm not," Naruto continued. "See, you're making a mess of my village, and I really hate when people make messes." His gloves erupted with light so bright it hurt to look at directly. "So let me clean up real quick." He slammed both hands onto the arena floor again, but this time he didn't stop at just the stadium. His power reached out, spreading through the earth like roots, connecting to every piece of discarded material in a quarter-mile radius. Broken weapons from the forest training grounds, shattered tiles from destroyed buildings, abandoned equipment from the Ninja Academy, construction debris from renovation projects. Every single piece of trash in that entire area, all of it responded. The earth began to glow with neon markings. Blue lines traced paths through the dirt, connecting points of light, forming a geometric pattern that looked like circuit boards mixed with graffiti art. Vital instrument, city sanitation protocol. And Naruto's power exploded outward. Trash erupted from the ground all around the stadium. Not randomly, strategically. Broken kunai shot up beneath Sound Ninja's feet, tripping them. Shattered wood formed barriers that blocked Sand Ninja's attacks. Discarded wire wrapped around enemy combatants like living snakes. It was like the entire city had come alive to defend itself, using every abandoned object as a weapon. A Sound Jonin tried to escape by jumping to a nearby roof. Broken tiles from that roof shot up and formed a cage around him. He was trapped before he could blink. A sand team tried to summon reinforcements. Rusted chains emerged from the earth and bound their hands before they could complete the seals. Enemy after enemy was neutralized by trash, by garbage, by things they'd stepped over and ignored on their way into the village. "Did you think," Naruto called out, his voice carrying over the chaos, "that Konoha was weak? That you could just walk in here and take what you wanted?" He gestured, and the trash constructs tightened around their captives. "This village threw me away," he said. "Called me demon, called me monster, called me trash." His expression hardened. But trash remembers, and trash protects its home. The invasion ground to a halt. Sound and Sand forces, realizing they were being beaten by literal garbage manipulated by a single genin, started surrendering. By the time Anbu arrived to secure the prisoners, most of the enemy forces were already contained, wrapped in chains and wood and wire made from discarded materials. Kakashi appeared beside Naruto, looking between him and the hundreds of restrained enemy ninja. "You did all this? I had help?" Naruto gestured at the debris. Everything people threw away. Turns out it was pretty useful after all. "The Hokage? Anbu got him out. He's injured but alive. The Kazekage was actually Orochimaru in disguise," explains the invasion. Kakashi's visible eye was serious. "We lost people, Naruto. Good people died today. I know." Naruto's voice was quiet. "I saw them fall. I tried to save as many as I could, but he looked at his hands. I'm not fast enough, not strong enough, not yet. You saved hundreds of lives today, maybe thousands. Don't diminish that. They stood in silence for a moment, looking at the damaged stadium, the injured civilians being treated by medical ninja, the fires being put out across the village. Hey, Sensei, Naruto said. Can I ask you something? Of course. Do you think trash can become more than trash? Like, permanently? Kakashi looked at him for a long moment, then smiled behind his mask. I think, he said carefully, that you've never been trash. The village just didn't know how to see your value. He put a hand on Naruto's shoulder. But they see it now. After today, everyone sees it. Naruto nodded slowly, not sure how to feel about that. The aftermath of the invasion was messy. Hiruzen had been injured fighting Orochimaru and needed weeks of recovery. Relations with Suna were strained but not broken. Turned out their Kazekage had been murdered and replaced weeks ago without anyone noticing. Sound Village was marked for elimination. And Naruto was suddenly famous. People stopped him on the street to thank him. Shop owners gave him discounts. Kids asked for autographs. It was weird and uncomfortable, and he kind of hated it. But there was one good thing. The village finally saw him as a person, not a demon. The Nine-Tails secret was still mostly hidden, but enough people knew enough to understand that Naruto had saved them despite having every reason to let them suffer. That meant something. 3 weeks after the invasion, Sasuke disappeared. His apartment was empty, his belongings gone. A note on the table said simply, "Gone to get stronger. Don't follow." When Team 7 received the news, Sakura broke down crying. Kakashi looked tired, and Naruto felt angry. He left, Naruto said flatly. Just threw away everything here. His home, his team, his village, to chase power. Sound 9 were spotted at the border, Kakashi reported. Probably Orochimaru's recruiters. If Sasuke went with them willingly, then he's officially a missing nin. So what do we do? The Hokage is assembling a retrieval team. You'll be on it. Kakashi's visible eye was serious. But Naruto, if Sasuke has truly defected, if he's chosen to leave Konoha behind, then you need to be prepared for the possibility that we can't save him. Everyone can be saved, Naruto said firmly. No one is irredeemable. No one is beyond salvaging. He looked at Kakashi. He's still my teammate, still someone I worked with, trained with, fought beside. I don't throw teammates away. Even if he's thrown you away, especially then. The retrieval team consisted of Naruto, Neji, Kiba, Choji, and Shikamaru, led by Shikamaru as field commander. They pursued Sasuke through the forest toward the border, tracking sound chakra signatures. They found enemy forces quickly, a group of 4 sound genin with curse marks that enhanced their abilities to near jonin levels. The ensuing battles were brutal. Neji fought Kidomaru, a 6-armed spider summoner. It was close, but Neji won through superior taijutsu and sheer determination, apparently having learned something from his fight with Naruto about not giving up. Kiba and Akamaru fought Sakon and Ukon, twin brothers who could merge and split their bodies. The dog and his master barely pulled out a victory. Choji faced Jirobo, a massive earth-style user. Choji ate special pills that enhanced his strength and won, but collapsed afterward, nearly dead from the strain. Shikamaru fought Tayuya, a genjutsu specialist who used demonic flutes. He won through clever use of shadow possession and exploding tags, but was too injured to continue. That left Naruto alone, chasing Sasuke and the final sound operative, a white-haired boy named Kimimaro who had a bone manipulation bloodline. They found them at a place called the Valley of the End, where massive statues of Hashirama Senju and Madara Uchiha faced each other across a waterfall. The location was symbolic. The site of the legendary battle that had ended the Warring States period. Kimimaro was barely standing, coughing blood, clearly dying from some terminal illness. When Naruto arrived, the bone user smiled faintly. "You're too late," he rasped. "Sasuke has already." He collapsed mid-sentence, just dropped dead from his illness. Naruto stared at the body for a moment, feeling a weird mix of relief and sadness. He hadn't wanted to fight someone who was already dying. Then he looked up and saw Sasuke standing on the water at the base of the waterfall. His former teammate had changed. The curse mark Orochimaru had given him was visible on his neck, black flame-like patterns spreading across his skin. His eyes held a calculation that hadn't been there before. "Naruto," Sasuke said. No emotion, just acknowledgement. Sasuke. Naruto walked down to the water's edge. You're leaving. Actually leaving. I need power, more power than Konoha can give me. Orochimaru can make me strong enough to kill Itachi. By turning you into a monster? By making you just like the brother you hate? I don't care what I become as long as I can achieve my goal. What about your bonds? Your team? Your home? Sasuke's expression hardened. Bonds are trash. They just make you weak. I'm cutting them all. Naruto felt something inside him snap. Did you just, he said very quietly, call bonds trash? The temperature seemed to drop. The water beneath them rippled. Yes, Sasuke said. They're worthless. Tools that break when you need them most. I'm done pretending they matter. I see. Naruto's gloves began to glow. Not just blue or green or purple, all of them at once, creating a rainbow of neon colors that reflected off the water. Then let me teach you about the value of trash, Sasuke. 1. Last time. He raised both hands and his power erupted outward. Vital instrument, full awakening. The entire Valley of the End responded. The waterfall itself began to glow. The water taking on metallic properties as Naruto transformed it into liquid metal that could be shaped and weaponized. The ancient statues cracked, pieces of stone breaking free and floating around Naruto like satellites. The earth beneath the water rippled and reformed, compressing, hardening, becoming armor. You think bonds are trash? Naruto's voice echoed weirdly, amplified by his power. Then let me show you what trash can do. He formed the fallen stone of the statues, literal pieces of Hashirama and Madara, physical remnants of the greatest shinobi in history, into armor that covered his body. The stone was marked with those neon graffiti symbols, glowing in patterns that looked like they'd been spray painted by some cosmic artist. The liquid metal from the waterfall formed weapons in his hands, a massive hammer made from transformed water that somehow held solid shape, crackling with blue-white energy, and the very ground they stood on became his weapon. Every rock, every pebble, every grain of sand within 100 meters answered his call. Sasuke's eyes went wide. That's impossible. No one has that much chakra. It's not chakra. Naruto pointed his hammer at Sasuke. It's belief. It's the conviction that nothing is worthless unless you make it worthless. It's the accumulated value of everything you've thrown away. He attacked. The hammer swung, and the impact created a shockwave that tore across the water, splitting it down the middle, revealing the lake bed beneath. Sasuke dodged, activated his curse mark fully, black wings erupting from his back, and countered with Chidori. Lightning met liquid metal. Crack! Boom! The sound was deafening. They fought across the valley. Naruto wielding transformed environmental materials against Sasuke's enhanced techniques. Every time Sasuke landed a hit, Naruto would transform something else. More stone, more water, more debris from their battle itself, and use it to counterattack. Why are you doing this? Sasuke shouted, launching a stream of fire. Why do you care what I do? Because you're my teammate. Naruto's hammer shattered the fire, sending embers scattering. Because I don't throw people away. Not even when they throw me away. He shaped the scattered embers, the heat and light and energy into binding chains that wrapped around Sasuke's wings. The Uchiha tried to break free, but the chains held. You want to talk about being trash? Naruto's voice was hard. I was Konoha's trash for 12 years. Every day people told me I was worthless. Demon, monster, mistake. They threw me away over and over. He pulled the chains tighter, dragging Sasuke down. But I never threw myself away. I never gave up. I never decided my bonds were worthless. You don't understand. Sasuke's Sharingan spun wildly. You never had a family to lose. You don't know what it's like. You're right, I don't. Naruto's expression softened slightly. But I know what it's like to have people who care about me and want to throw that away because I'm too stupid to see its value. He pulled Sasuke closer. Sakura cries herself to sleep every night since you left. Kakashi looks 10 years older. Hinata asks about you constantly because she knows we're friends. The entire village is worried. I don't care about. Yes, you do. Naruto roared. The entire valley shook. You care so much it's killing you. That's why you're running, because caring hurts and you'd rather be alone than risk being hurt again. Tears were streaming down Sasuke's face now, even as he tried to maintain his cold expression. I can't. I'm not strong enough. Then get stronger with us, not by running away. Not by abandoning everything good in your life to chase revenge that won't make you feel better, even if you succeed. Naruto dismissed his hammer, dismissed the chains, and grabbed Sasuke by the shoulders. Come home, please. For a long moment, Sasuke just stared at him. His curse mark receded, his wings dissolved, his Sharingan faded. Then he collapsed against Naruto, crying properly for the first time since the Uchiha massacre. I'm sorry, he sobbed. I'm so sorry. I know. Naruto held him up. But you're going to be okay. We all are. Because I don't let my teammates become trash. Ever. They stayed like that for a while, in the shadow of the legendary statues, in the place where history's greatest rivalry had ended in death. But this time, it ended in redemption. The journey back to Konoha was slow. Sasuke was in bad shape, physically exhausted, emotionally wrecked, and carrying injuries from his fights with Naruto and Kimimaro. They collected the rest of the retrieval team along the way. Finding them being treated by medical teams Tsunade had sent out, everyone survived. Barely, but they survived. When they finally reached Konoha's gates, the entire village seemed to be waiting. Tsunade, the new Hokage, having taken over after Hiruzen retired, stood at the front, arms crossed, looking stern. Sasuke Uchiha, she said formally, you attempted to defect from Konohagakure. You allied with a known enemy of the village. You attacked your teammates. Her expression softened slightly. But you were also manipulated by Orochimaru, marked with a curse seal, and ultimately brought back by your friends before completing your defection. She looked at Naruto, who still had one of Sasuke's arms over his shoulder, supporting him. Naruto Uzumaki's report indicates you surrendered voluntarily after he defeated you in combat. Is this accurate? Sasuke nodded weakly. Yes, Hokage-sama. Then here's my ruling. You'll be placed under house arrest for 6 months. You'll undergo therapy for trauma and curse mark treatment. You'll complete D-rank missions under supervision, and you'll write a formal apology to every person your actions affected. She paused. But you won't be executed. You won't be imprisoned. You won't be exiled. You'll be given a chance to prove you still belong here. Sasuke's eyes went wide. Thank you. Don't thank me. Thank your teammates who risked their lives to bring you back. Tsunade gestured to the medical building. Now go get treated before you collapse. As medical ninja led Sasuke away, Tsunade turned to Naruto. You, my office, 1 hour. Yes, Hokage-sama. Tsunade's office was less cluttered than Hiruzen's had been, but somehow more intimidating. She sat behind her desk, fingers steepled, studying Naruto with those amber eyes that seemed to see right through him. Explain your powers to me, she said without preamble. Not the cover story, the truth. Naruto had known this conversation was coming. He took a breath and explained everything. The broken broom that had awakened his abilities, the years of experimentation, the philosophy of giving value to discarded objects, his hatred of people who threw things and people away. When he finished, Tsunade was quiet for a long moment. So you're essentially telling me that your power is fueled by emotional resonance with abandoned objects, she said slowly. That you can transform anything that's been discarded into a weapon. And the more emotional weight that object carries, the more powerful the weapon becomes. Basically, yes. That's... She paused, searching for words. Unprecedented. I've never heard of a bloodline or technique that works like that. It's not a bloodline. I don't know what it is, honestly. It just is. And you've kept it mostly secret for years because you didn't trust the village. Can you blame me? Naruto's voice was flat. The village called me demon for 12 years. They threw rocks at me, refused to serve me in shops. Teachers sabotaged my education, and you want to know the funny part? They were right to hate me. I am the Nine-Tails container. I am a weapon created by the 4th Hokage to protect them. But I'm also a person, and they never bothered to see that. Tsunade's expression softened. You're right. The village failed you. We all failed you. And I can't take back those years or erase that pain. She leaned forward, but I can make sure it doesn't happen again. As Hokage, I'm declaring you off limits. Anyone who attacks you, verbally or physically, answers to me personally. Anyone who tries to exploit your abilities answers to me. And anyone who treats you like anything other than a hero of this village will wish they hadn't. Naruto blinked. You're protecting me? I'm recognizing your value. There's a difference. She smiled slightly. You saved hundreds of lives during the invasion, Naruto. You brought back a defecting teammate when most people would have let him go. You've proven repeatedly that you're not trash, not that you ever were. So yes, I'm protecting you, because that's what I do for my shinobi. For the first time in his life, Naruto felt like someone in authority actually understood. Thank you, Hokage-sama. Don't thank me yet. I'm also assigning you more missions. Harder missions. Your skills are too valuable to waste on D ranks. She pulled out a file. Starting next week, Team 7 will be taking B and A rank assignments. You've proven you can handle them. Naruto grinned. Finally, no more catching cats. No more catching cats, Tsunade agreed. Now get out of here. You've got a village celebration to attend. Celebration? For saving everyone's lives. Did you think we wouldn't throw a party? The party was held in the village square, with food and music, and what seemed like the entire population of Konoha showing up. Naruto stood awkwardly to the side, not used to being the center of positive attention, while people kept coming up to thank him. Hinata appeared beside him, holding 2 cups of punch. I thought you might be thirsty. Thanks, he took the cup. This is weird. Being celebrated, being accepted, it feels temporary, like they'll change their minds tomorrow. Hinata shook her head. They won't. You showed them who you really are, Naruto-kun. They can't unsee that. I hope you're right. They stood in comfortable silence for a while, watching people dance and laugh and celebrate being alive. Hey, Hinata, Naruto said. Thanks for believing in me before all this, for seeing value in me when other people didn't. Her face turned bright red. I always knew you were special, Naruto-kun. You never gave up. You never threw yourself away. She took a breath. That's why I admire you. Something warm settled in Naruto's chest. He wasn't sure what to call the feeling, but it was nice. I admire you too, he said honestly. You're stronger than you think. They spent the rest of the party together, and if other people noticed and smiled knowingly, well, that was their business. The music had shifted from celebratory to something softer, more intimate. Paper lanterns swayed in the evening breeze, casting dancing shadows across the village square. Naruto found himself gravitating toward the edge of the crowd with Hinata, where the noise was less overwhelming, and he could actually hear himself think. Your power, Hinata said quietly, her fingers wrapped around her punch cup. When you fight, everything glows. Like the city at night, like you're painting with light. Naruto looked at his gloved hands. The duct tape was starting to fray again. He'd need to replace it soon. I never thought about it that way. I just see the value in things, the potential, the anger of being thrown away. He flexed his fingers. But yeah, I guess it does look like graffiti, like someone tagged reality with hope. That's beautiful, Naruto-kun. It's messy, he corrected, but he was smiling. Nothing about what I do is clean or pretty. It's raw. It's taking the broken pieces and forcing them to be more than they were. It's loud and aggressive and perfect, Hinata finished. Her face was red, but she met his eyes. It's perfectly you. Something warm settled in Naruto's chest. Not the burning energy of his Jinki powers, but something gentler. Something he wasn't entirely sure how to name. Hey, he said, setting down his own cup. Want to get out of here? I want to show you something. They left the square, slipping through the celebrating crowd unnoticed. Or at least, Naruto hoped they were unnoticed. He led Hinata through the village streets, past the rebuilt buildings that still bore faint traces of invasion damage, toward the old training grounds, where he'd spent countless hours alone. The junkyard behind Training Ground 7 was Naruto's secret sanctuary. Years of accumulated debris, broken weapons, shattered training dummies, discarded equipment, created a landscape of organized chaos. Moonlight turned the metal scraps into pools of silver. This is where I learned, Naruto said, gesturing at the controlled mess. After I figured out what I could do, I came here every night, experimented, practiced, tried to understand why some things transform stronger than others. Hinata activated her Byakugan and her eyes widened. I can see it, the emotional residue. Every object here carries weight, pain, abandonment. She looked at him with newfound understanding. You carry all of that when you transform them. Yeah. Naruto picked up a rusted kunai, and his gloves immediately responded with a faint blue glow. This one belonged to a genin who died in the Third War, failed a mission, blamed himself, threw away his weapons before the end. The glow intensified, But his dedication, his desire to improve, his love for the village, that's still here, waiting. He transformed it casually, almost absently. The rusted kunai became a pristine short sword marked with neon blue patterns that looked like they'd been spray painted by a god. The blade hummed with restrained power. I don't just take their trash, Naruto continued. I honor it. I prove that what people discarded still matters. That failure doesn't erase value. That broken things can be beautiful. He dismissed the blade and it crumbled back to rust. The village threw me away, but I'm going to make sure no one else ever feels worthless again. Hinata stepped closer. The Hyuga clan, she said softly. They told me I was trash too. Weak, worthless, not fit to be heir. Her hands clenched. But you looked at me and saw something different. I saw someone strong trying to apologize for existing, Naruto said bluntly. Someone who had value but was told she didn't. That made me angry. He met her pale eyes. You're not trash, Hinata. You never were. You just needed someone to believe in you the way I believe in discarded kunai. She laughed. A small, genuine sound. That's the most Naruto thing you've ever said. Yeah, well, Hinata kissed him. It was brief, tentative, her lips barely brushing his before she pulled back with a face like a tomato. I'm sorry, that was forward. I shouldn't have. Naruto pulled her back and kissed her properly. This one lasted longer. Her lips were soft and tasted like the punch they'd been drinking. When they finally separated, both breathing hard, Naruto was grinning like an idiot. Don't apologize, he said. Yeah, good. That was really good. They stood in the junkyard under the moon, surrounded by broken things that still had value. And Naruto thought maybe, just maybe, this was what it felt like to be wanted instead of thrown away. We should probably head back, Hinata murmured, though she didn't let go of his hand. People will talk if we're gone too long. Let them talk. But Naruto was already leading her back toward the village proper. I'll walk you home. The Hyuga compound is on the other side of town, right? You don't have to. I want to. They walked through Konoha's streets, past shops closing for the night and civilians heading home. A few people waved at Naruto, actually waved, not glared or hurried away, and he waved back awkwardly. This new reality of acceptance was still foreign territory. At the Hyuga compound gates, Hinata hesitated. Naruto-kun, thank you for tonight, for everything. Don't thank me yet. We're just getting started. He squeezed her hand. Tomorrow, Team 7 has a mission. After that, maybe we could train together? I want to see how your gentle fist works with my constructs. I'd like that. One more quick kiss, initiated by Naruto this time, and Hinata disappeared through the gates with a smile that made his chest feel strange. Naruto walked home alone, but for once, he didn't feel lonely. The morning came too early. Naruto rolled out of bed, showered, dressed in his orange and black combat gear, and stared at the mirror. The boy looking back at him had changed. Not physically. He still had the same whisker marks, the same orange eyes, the same messy hair, but something fundamental had shifted. He carried himself differently now. Like someone who knew his worth, his apartment was small but comfortable, filled with carefully organized shelves of collected materials, broken tools, shattered glass, twisted wire. Each object placed with reverence, each one cataloged mentally by emotional weight. This was his arsenal, his ammunition, his proof that nothing was worthless. Before leaving, he grabbed a protein bar, trash food, Iruka-sensei would have said, and headed toward Sasuke's apartment. The Uchiha district was quiet. Most of the houses stood empty, monuments to a massacre that still haunted Konoha. But one house showed signs of life. Lights on, door unlocked. Naruto knocked once before entering. Sasuke sat at his table, eating rice and fish with mechanical precision. The curse mark on his neck was sealed now. Tsunade had worked some medical miracle, but the psychological scars were harder to address. He looked up when Naruto entered, expression carefully neutral. Morning, Naruto said, helping himself to a seat. Sleep okay? House arrest means lots of sleep, not much else to do. Sasuke's voice was flat, but his eyes tracked Naruto's movements. You're here early? Mission? Yeah, Tsunade's briefing us at 9. Figured I'd check in first. Naruto leaned back in his chair. How are you really doing? Sasuke set down his chopsticks with precise care. The therapist wants me to process my trauma. The Anbu watching my apartment want me to try something so they have an excuse to kill me. The village wants me to magically be okay, so they don't have to feel bad about the Uchiha massacre. He met Naruto's eyes. So I'm peachy. That's bullshit, and you know I know it's bullshit. What do you want me to say, Naruto? Sasuke's hands clenched. That I'm sorry? That I regret trying to defect? That I'm grateful you dragged me back? I want you to be honest. Silence. Then Sasuke laughed, harsh and broken. I'm terrified. Happy? Every day I wake up and think about running again. Every time I close my eyes, I see Itachi. Every mission I take will be watched because I'm a flight risk. He looked away. And the worst part? You saved me. You believed in me when I'd given up on myself. Now I have to live with that. Have to prove I was worth saving. And I don't know if I am. Naruto pulled out a rusted shuriken from his pocket, one of the same batch he'd used against Mizuki years ago, and set it on the table between them. This shuriken was trash, he said quietly. Thrown away, forgotten. But when I needed it, it became the weapon that saved Iruka-sensei. It proved everyone wrong about its value. He pushed it toward Sasuke. You're not trash, Sasuke. You're just a shuriken that got rusty. You need time, maintenance, someone to believe in you while you figure out your edge again. Sasuke stared at the shuriken like it was a snake. And if I can't? If I'm too damaged? Then I'll melt you down and reforge you from scratch. Naruto stood. Come on, we've got a mission, and Tsunade will ream us if we're late. They walked to the Hokage Tower together, two boys carrying different weights but walking the same path. Anbu shadows followed Sasuke at a discreet distance. Village civilians gave them a wide berth. But Naruto didn't care. His teammate was back. That was what mattered. The Hokage's office smelled like sake and paperwork. Tsunade sat behind her desk looking both regal and exhausted, her legendary appearance maintained by medical ninjutsu and sheer willpower. Kakashi lounged against the wall reading his book. Sakura and Sasuke stood at attention. Naruto entered last, closing the door behind him. Team 7. Tsunade began without preamble. You've been assigned an A-rank mission. A merchant caravan is traveling from Fire Country to Iron Country to attend the 5 Kage Summit preparations. They've received threats from missing nin operating in the border regions. Your job is to escort them safely. She slid a folder across the desk. Kakashi caught it with one hand, still reading his book. Expected threats include B-rank missing nin, possibly organized bandit groups, and standard wildlife hazards. The caravan has 16 members, 8 wagons of trade goods. Journey time is 5 days. Questions? What kind of trade goods? Naruto asked immediately. Tsunade raised an eyebrow. Does it matter? If they're carrying weapons or valuables, we'll face different threats than if they're hauling grain. Weapons attract weapons dealers. Valuables attract thieves who might have inside information. Medical supplies and precision tools, Tsunade said, consulting her notes. Apparently, the Iron Country is preparing facilities for the summit and needs specific equipment. Naruto nodded. So we're looking at opportunistic theft, not organized crime. Probably ambush tactics at choke points. When did you become a tactician? Sakura muttered. When I stopped pretending to be dumb. Naruto looked at Tsunade. When do we leave? 2 hours. Caravan is gathering at the North Gate. Kakashi is team leader, but I expect all of you to contribute to strategy. This is about proving Team 7 can function as a cohesive unit again. Her gaze fixed on Sasuke. All of you. Understood, Hokage-sama, Sasuke said quietly. They filed out of the office. In the hallway, Sakura caught up to Naruto. You and Hinata, she said without preamble. People are talking. Let them talk. I'm happy for you. Her voice was sincere. You deserve happiness, Naruto, and she's good for you. Better than... She cut herself off. Better than you? Naruto finished gently. Sakura, you never really wanted me. You wanted the idea of me, the safe crush, the backup plan. Hinata sees me, actually sees me, all the ugly parts included, and still wants to be there. Sakura's expression flickered with something painful. I know, and I'm sorry I didn't see you properly before, but I'm seeing you now, and I'm glad we're teammates. Real teammates. Me too. They gathered supplies separately. Naruto from his apartment arsenal, Sasuke from his restricted access to the Uchiha armory, Sakura from the medical supplies depot. When they reconvened at the North Gate 2 hours later, the caravan was already loaded and waiting. The merchants were typical Fire Country traders, pragmatic, professional, mildly nervous about needing ninja escort. Their leader was a woman named Kaito with sharp eyes and sharper bookkeeping skills. 4 ninja for 16 merchants? She said skeptically. Seems like overkill for medical supplies. Would you prefer we left? Kakashi asked mildly. I prefer not to die. Let's get moving. The first day of travel was uneventful. They moved through Fire Country's interior roads, well-maintained, patrolled by border guards, relatively safe. Naruto used the time to collect materials from the roadside, broken wagon wheels from previous caravans, discarded horseshoes, shattered pottery from merchant camps. Sasuke noticed. You're always collecting junk. It's not junk, it's ammunition. Naruto held up a broken wagon spoke. This belonged to a caravan that was attacked 5 years ago. 3 merchants died defending their goods. Their determination is still here, waiting to be channeled. That's morbid. That's practical. Naruto stored the spoke in a seal. When we get ambushed, and we will, I'll have materials ready. Pessimist. Realist. They camped the first night in a designated clearing. The merchants set up quickly, experience from years of travel. Team 7 established a perimeter with Kakashi taking first watch. Naruto found himself sitting by the fire with Sakura, watching the merchants cook dinner and tell stories. You've changed, Sakura said quietly. Not just the power, the way you think, the way you see things. I stopped hiding. Naruto poked the fire with a stick. For years, I pretended to be weak, so people wouldn't expect anything from me. Dead last, class clown, annoying kid, but that was safer than showing them what I could do and having them fear me more. Do you regret it? No. I learned patience, control, strategy. If I'd shown my abilities earlier, the village would have tried to weaponize me or seal my powers. By waiting, by being underestimated, I could develop on my terms. He looked at her. But I'm done hiding, done apologizing for existing. If people want to see what Konoha's garbage man can do, they're about to find out. The ambush came on the 3rd day, exactly where Naruto predicted. A narrow mountain pass with steep walls and limited escape routes. 20 missing nin dropped from the cliffs simultaneously. Kunai drawn, moving with practiced coordination. Their leader, a Jonin defector with a scar across his face, landed in front of the caravan with a dramatic flourish. Surrender the cargo, he announced, and we'll let you live. Kakashi sighed. Why do they always say that? Because they're unimaginative, Naruto said, his gloves already glowing blue-green, and about to learn a lesson. The missing nin attacked. Team 7 responded with the coordination of actual teammates who trusted each other. Kakashi engaged the Jonin leader immediately, Sharingan spinning. Sakura moved to protect the merchants, her enhanced strength turning thrown kunai into spinning projectiles. Sasuke activated his Sharingan, tracking multiple opponents simultaneously, and Naruto slammed his gloved hands into the ground. Vital instrument, roadside reclamation. Every piece of debris he collected over 3 days, wagon wheels, horseshoes, pottery, broken tools, erupted from his seal simultaneously. The objects glowed with neon patterns as they transformed midair, each one becoming something more. Wagon wheels became spinning blade discs, horseshoes became throwing stars, pottery shards became razor-edged projectiles, broken tools became proper weapons marked with graffiti-style symbols, and all of them launched toward the missing like a meteor shower of trash. Shing, 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 crack, boom! The sound was incredible. Metal on metal, breaking bones, screams. 3 missing nin went down immediately, overwhelmed by the sheer volume of transformed projectiles. 5 more were forced to dodge, breaking their formation. What the hell is that? One of them shouted. That's my teammate, Sasuke said, appearing behind him with a Chidori-charged fist. Crack. And he takes trash very seriously. The fight devolved into chaos. Naruto's constructs created zones of denial that the missing nin couldn't penetrate. Sakura's devastating punches shattered anyone who got close. Sasuke's Sharingan predicted movements, allowing perfect interception. Kakashi's experience coordinated everything. In 5 minutes, the ambush was over. 15 missing nin unconscious, 5 fled. 0 casualties on the caravan side. The merchants stared in shock. That was. Kaito searched for words. Efficient. That was Team 7, Naruto said, dismissing his constructs. They crumbled back into component parts, which he carefully collected and resealed. And we're just getting started. The rest of the journey was peaceful. Word apparently spread among the criminal community that attacking this particular caravan was suicide. They reached Iron Country 3 days later, delivered the cargo safely, and collected their payment. On the journey back to Konoha, Kakashi pulled Naruto aside. "Your tactics have improved," the Jonin said. "You're thinking 3 steps ahead now, anticipating enemy movements, using environmental advantages. I had good teachers, and I've been reading your mission reports from the archives." Naruto grinned at Kakashi's expression. "What? You thought I couldn't read? I thought those were classified." "They were. Tsunade declassified them for me after the invasion. Said I earned access to tactical documentation." Naruto shrugged. "Turns out reading about how elite ninja think is really useful for someone trying to become elite. You're already elite, Naruto. You just don't see it yet." Back in Konoha, Team 7 submitted their mission report and dispersed to their homes. But Naruto detoured to the training grounds where he'd arranged to meet Hinata. She was already there, practicing gentle fist forms with focused intensity. Her movements were fluid, precise, deadly. When she noticed him, she stopped with a slight flush. "How was the mission?" "Boring until we got ambushed, then fun." Naruto pulled out various collected materials. "I wanted to try something. Your Byakugan can see chakra flow, right? And emotional energy?" "Yes." "Then I want you to observe while I transform objects. Tell me what you see. I'm trying to understand how memory resonance works, accessing the memories stored in discarded items." For the next hour, they experimented. Naruto would transform objects while Hinata described what her Byakugan revealed. She saw the emotional residue flowing from him into the materials. Saw how his conviction reshaped molecular structures. Saw the moment when trash became treasure. "It's beautiful," she breathed, watching a rusty chain become a glowing whip, like watching someone paint with pure belief. "Can you see memories too?" "No, just energy flow. But I can see when an object carries heavier emotional weight. Some things glow brighter before you even touch them." "Show me." They walked through the junkyard, Hinata's Byakugan active, pointing out objects with particularly strong residue. A broken tanto that glowed white-hot with rage. A shattered helmet that pulsed with sorrow. A discarded medical kit that radiated compassion. Naruto touched the medical kit. Images flooded his mind. A field medic during the Third War, trying desperately to save wounded teammates, failing, throwing away the kit in grief and rage. But underneath the trauma, there was love, dedication, a desperate wish to protect. When he pulled his hand away, tears tracked down his face. "I saw her," he whispered, "the medic who owned this. Saw her trying to save people, saw her failure, saw her pain." He looked at the kit with new understanding. Memory resonance isn't just reading objects, it's experiencing their history, living through what they witnessed. That sounds painful. It is, but it's also intimate. I'm honoring these objects by bearing witness to their stories. He carefully stored the medical kit. "This one's special. I'm saving it." They trained together as the sun set, combining gentle fist with transformed constructs. Hinata would strike with precision while Naruto's weapons provided overwhelming force. Her finesse and his power complemented perfectly, and when training ended, they sat together watching the stars. Hinata leaning against his shoulder, Naruto feeling more complete than he ever had before. The months passed in a blur of missions and training. Team 7's reputation grew. The mission success rate was perfect. Other Genin teams looked at them with envy and respect. The nickname Garbage Man spread beyond Konoha. Enemy villages started warning their forces about the Leaf Ninja who turned trash into weapons. Sasuke slowly reintegrated into the village. The house arrest ended after 3 months of good behavior. He took missions seriously, never complained, worked tirelessly to prove he'd changed. The village's acceptance came grudgingly, but it came. During a B-rank mission tracking smugglers, Sasuke saved Naruto's life by intercepting a poison-coated blade aimed at his throat. During an A-rank mission defending a fortress, Naruto saved Sasuke's life by creating a construct shield that blocked an avalanche technique. The trust between them rebuilt slowly. Action by action, Sakura blossomed under Tsunade's training. Her medical ninjutsu became legendary. She could heal injuries that would have killed ninja in previous wars. Her strength rivaled her master's, and her tactical mind became the glue holding Team 7 strategies together. "You're the brain," Naruto told her during one mission debriefing. "Sasuke's the eyes, I'm the weapons, Kakashi's the experience. but you're the one who makes us work." She'd blushed, but accepted the compliment. Naruto's relationship with Hinata deepened. They trained together 3 times a week, ate dinner together most nights, went on actual dates, awkward, adorable dates where they both stumbled over conversation and held hands like it was revolutionary. The first time Naruto met Hiyashi Hyuga officially as Hinata's boyfriend was terrifying. The clan head had stared at him with Byakugan-enhanced intensity for a full minute before speaking. "You make my daughter happy." "Yes, sir." "You've proven yourself a capable ninja and defender of Konoha." "Thank you, sir. If you hurt her, I will end you." "Understood, sir." Hiyashi had nodded once and walked away, leaving Naruto sweating bullets while Hinata giggled behind her hand. 6 months after the invasion, Jiraiya returned to Konoha with news and an offer. "I'm taking you training," the Sannin announced, appearing in Naruto's apartment without knocking. 3 months, intensive. I'm going to teach you Sage Mode and help you evolve your Jinki abilities. Why? Because Akatsuki is moving. My spy network reports they're accelerating their timeline for capturing the tailed beasts. You're a target, kid, and you need to be ready. Naruto looked at Hinata, who'd been helping him organize his material collection. She nodded encouragingly. "Okay," he said. "When do we leave?" "Tomorrow." The training was brutal. Jiraiya took Naruto to Mount Myoboku, home of the Toad Summons and the ancient art of Sage Mode. For 3 months, Naruto learned to gather natural energy while simultaneously developing his Jinki abilities. The Toads were fascinated by his power. "This is not chakra," Fukasaku said, studying Naruto's glowing gloves. "This is something else. Emotional energy given physical form through conviction and ritual." "Can I combine it with Sage Mode?" Naruto asked. "We'll find out." He learned to sit perfectly still, gathering nature energy while touching discarded objects, letting their memories flow through him. Learned to transform materials using both Sage Chakra and Jinki energy simultaneously. Learned to push his powers beyond their previous limits. Memory resonance evolved. Now he could fully experience an object's history, not just see memories but feel them, understand them, integrate them into his fighting style. A discarded sword showed him its previous owner's techniques. A broken shield taught him defensive strategies. A shattered kunai revealed assassination methods. "You're essentially stealing experience," Jiraiya observed. "That's terrifying." "I'm honoring experience," Naruto corrected, giving it new purpose. Soul Forge developed next. Naruto learned to imbue his constructs with specific emotions, making them more effective against certain opponents. A weapon forged with determination could pierce through despair-based defenses. Armor made from compassion could resist hatred-fueled attacks. "You are weaponizing philosophy," Jiraiya said, equal parts impressed and disturbed. "Your father would have loved this." On the final week of training, Naruto unlocked Vital Network, the ability to connect multiple constructs into a coordinated system. He created 12 weapons simultaneously, each one autonomous but linked to his tactical awareness. They moved independently, covering each other's weaknesses, creating combinations without his direct control. "This is Jonin-level coordination," Fukasaku said, watching the weapons dance through combat drills. "You've essentially created your own squad. Now I just need to make them faster." When Naruto returned to Konoha 3 months later, he was different, taller, more muscular. His eyes held depths they hadn't before. He'd seen centuries of memories through discarded objects. He moved with sage-enhanced grace, and his power had evolved beyond anything he'd shown previously. Hinata met him at the village gate, and the kiss they shared made him forget everything else for a blessed moment. "I missed you," she whispered against his lips. "Missed you more." Team 7 reconvened the next day for their first mission since Naruto's return. It was supposed to be a simple B-rank escort. It became something else entirely when 2 figures appeared on the road ahead, Itachi Uchiha and Kasame Hoshigaki of the Akatsuki. "Naruto Uzumaki," Kasame said, his shark-like grin showing too many teeth. "We meet again, and you've gotten stronger. I can taste the power rolling off you." Itachi said nothing, his Sharingan already active. Analyzing, Sasuke froze. His hands shook. The trauma of Tsukuyomi from their last encounter paralyzed him. Naruto stepped forward, his gloves erupting with light, blue, green, purple, gold, all the colors of evolved Jinki mixing into rainbow patterns. "You want me?" His voice carried sage-enhanced resonance. Then come take me, but you'll have to go through my team first. Kakashi moved to his left, Sakura to his right. And after a long moment, Sasuke stepped forward too, Sharingan spinning despite his fear. Team 7, Kakashi said quietly. Combat Formation Delta. Naruto is primary. We support. Kisame laughed. 4 Jonin and a Jonin against 2 Akatsuki? That's adorable. 3 Jonin and a Chunin, Naruto corrected. I took the exam while training. Passed. His grin was sharp. And you're about to learn why they call me the garbage man. He slammed both gloved hands into the ground. Vital instrument, Sage Art, Memory Legion. The earth erupted. Every discarded weapon, every broken tool, every piece of trash within 100 meters responded. But this time, they didn't just transform. They absorbed Naruto's gathered experiences from 3 months of memory resonance training. Swords emerged wielding techniques from legendary samurai. Spears moved with the precision of ancient guards. Shields defended using strategies from forgotten wars. Each construct carried the skill of its original owner, channeled through Naruto's will and enhanced by Sage Mode. It was an army of ghosts made manifest through trash. Kasame's expression shifted from amused to serious. That's new. I learned from the best, Naruto said. Unfortunately for you, the best have been dead for decades, but their weapons remember. The Memory Legion attacked. Kasame swung Samahata, his legendary sword, trying to absorb chakra. But Naruto's constructs weren't purely chakra-based. The emotional energy underlying them couldn't be eaten. When Samehada bit into a transformed blade, it recoiled like it had tasted poison. What the hell? Kisame stumbled back. Samehada won't eat it. Because my power isn't about chakra, Naruto said, directing his legion with sage-enhanced awareness. It's about conviction, and you can't digest someone's belief system. Meanwhile, Itachi moved toward Sasuke, clearly intending to use Tsukuyomi again. But Naruto had anticipated this. One of his constructs, a shield forged from that medical kit he'd saved, imbued with compassion and protection, interposed itself between the Uchiha brothers. Memory resonance, Naruto said, touching the shield. Let me in. His consciousness split, one part fighting Kasame, one part entering the shield's memories. The shield had witnessed protection, sacrifice, desperate attempts to save lives. Naruto channeled that into a technique he developed specifically for this moment. Soul Forge, Sanctuary Field. The shield exploded with golden light, creating a zone where Genjutsu couldn't penetrate. Itachi's Tsukuyomi hit the field and dispersed harmlessly. Sasuke gasped, freed from the anticipatory fear. How? Because I don't let my teammates get mind raped, Naruto said bluntly. Now fight! Sasuke did. His Sharingan tracked Itachi's movements, his Chidori crackled to life. For the first time since the massacre, he faced his brother, not as a victim, but as an opponent. The battle was brutal and fast. Kakashi and Sakura handled the Memory Legion's coordination, directing constructs to support each team member. Naruto fought Kasame directly, Sage Mode enhancing his taijutsu, while transformed weapons provided overwhelming offense. Sasuke dueled Itachi with growing confidence. You've changed, little brother, Itachi observed. You found something worth protecting beyond revenge. I found teammates, Sasuke replied. I found bonds, and I'm not throwing them away, not ever again. The fight lasted 10 minutes before Itachi made a decision. Kisame, we're leaving. But the Nine Tails is too well protected. We'll reassess. Itachi looked at Naruto with an expression that might have been respect. Your power is interesting, Naruto Uzumaki, but more interesting is your effect on others. You've made Sasuke strong. They vanished in a swirl of crows and water, leaving Team 7 standing in a crater-marked road surrounded by slowly dissolving constructs. Silence. Then Sakura started laughing, slightly hysterical but genuine. We just fought Akatsuki and survived. We actually survived. We didn't just survive, Kakashi corrected, looking at his students with visible pride. We won. They retreated. Do you understand what that means? Akatsuki doesn't retreat. Naruto dismissed his remaining constructs, suddenly exhausted. Sage Mode drained quickly when used with Jinki abilities. It means they'll be back, with more members, and they won't underestimate us next time. Let them come, Sasuke said quietly. His hands had stopped shaking. We'll be ready. They completed their escort mission and returned to Konoha with a new understanding. They could face S-rank threats and win. Team 7 had graduated from promising genin to legitimate elite ninja. The mission report caused chaos in the Hokage's office. "You fought Itachi Uchiha and Kasame Hoshigaki," Tsunade said flatly, "and you're reporting it like a random encounter?" "It was a random encounter," Naruto pointed out. "We were just doing our mission. They showed up. We dealt with it." "Dealt with it," Tsunade repeated. "You forced 2 S-rank criminals to retreat." "Pretty much." She pinched the bridge of her nose. "I'm promoting you. All of you. Chunin effective immediately. You've clearly surpassed normal genin capabilities." "Does this mean better missions?" Naruto asked hopefully. "This means more dangerous missions. Specifically, I'm assigning Team 7 to Akatsuki countermeasures. If they're hunting Jinchuriki, you're going to hunt them right back." Over the following months, Team 7 took on missions specifically designed to interfere with Akatsuki operations. They disrupted supply lines, liberated villages under Akatsuki control, gathered intelligence on organization structure, and during one mission in the Land of Rivers, they received urgent news. Akatsuki had attacked Sunagakure. Gaara had been captured. The message was brief and desperate. Akatsuki's Deidara and Sasori had infiltrated Sand Village during a border dispute, overwhelmed the Kazekage, and escaped with his body. They were extracting Shukaku even now, and if the process completed, Gaara would die. Tsunade assembled a massive response force. Team 7, Team Guy, and Team 10, all their best chunin, multiple jonin for support. 12 elite ninja deploying on an emergency extraction mission. "Time is critical," Tsunade said during the briefing. "Extraction takes 3 days. It's been 2 since the abduction. You have maybe 24 hours to reach them, fight through whatever defenses they've established, and extract Gaara alive." Naruto stood, his expression hard. "Then we don't waste time talking. We move now." They deployed immediately, running at maximum speed through fire country toward the river country border. The pace was punishing. Neji used his Byakugan to navigate optimal routes. Shikamaru coordinated logistics, but it was Naruto who set the pace, his sage-enhanced stamina allowing speeds that pushed everyone else to their limits. "Slow down," Kiba shouted. "We can't maintain this." "Then fall behind," Naruto called back. "I'm not letting Gaara die." Hinata kept pace beside him, her Byakugan active, scanning for threats. "Naruto-kun, you need to preserve energy for the fight." "I'll have energy. I've been collecting materials every step of this run." He gestured at the seal on his arm, which glowed faintly. "Every broken branch, every discarded stone, every piece of trash on this road is ammunition. By the time we arrive, I'll have an arsenal." They reached the Akatsuki hideout 36 hours after deployment, a massive cave system protected by a 5-seal barrier. Breaking it would take time they didn't have. "Brute force it," Naruto decided. "Everyone, maximum output on the seals. Shikamaru, coordinate timing. We hit all 5 simultaneously and blow through." It took 6 jonin working together, but they shattered the barrier in minutes. The cave entrance yawned open, dark and ominous. Deidara and Sasori left clones behind, Neji reported, Byakugan piercing the darkness. The real bodies have already left with Gaara, but there's something else inside. Something big. They entered cautiously. The cave was a cathedral of stone, lit by glowing seals that pulsed with malevolent energy. In the center stood a massive stone statue with 9 eyes, 7 closed, 2 open, and in front of it stood 2 figures, Sasori in his puppet body and a massive humanoid figure covered in bone protrusions. "Kimimaro," Kakashi breathed, "but he should be dead." "I was," the bone user said, his voice rattling. "Orochimaru preserved me, gave me to Akatsuki as a test subject. Now I serve a higher purpose." He coughed blood. "And I'll die serving it." "Touching," Naruto said, his gloves already glowing. "But we're taking Gaara back, move or be moved." The response was violence. Kimimaro created a forest of bone spires that erupted from the ground. Team Guy scattered to handle him. Lee's taijutsu was the only thing fast enough to avoid the bones. Neji's gentle fist could disrupt the chakra flow. Tenten's weapons provided support. That left Sasori for Team 7. The puppet master unleashed his 100-puppet army without fanfare. They emerged from storage scrolls, filling the cavern with wooden bodies and clicking joints. "Sakura, Sasuke," Kakashi ordered. "Handle the puppets. Naruto, you're with me on Sasori." The battle was chaos. Sakura's enhanced strength shattered puppets with each punch. Sasuke's Sharingan tracked puppet strings, letting him cut control lines. But for every puppet destroyed, another took its place. Naruto activated memory resonance, touching broken puppet fragments scattered around the cave from a previous battle. The memories flooded in. These puppets had been people once. Ninja from various villages, captured by Sasori, murdered, converted. He saw their last moments, felt their fear and rage. "You monster," Naruto whispered. "You didn't just kill them, you erased them." "I preserved them," Sasori corrected, his voice emotionless. "Death is inevitable, but art is eternal. My puppets will exist long after organic life ends." "They're not art, they're blasphemy." Naruto's gloves blazed with white-hot light. "Soul Forge, honor dead." He grabbed every puppet fragment in range and poured his power into them. But instead of creating weapons, he did something different. He gave the puppet fragments their humanity back. They transformed. The dead wood and metal took on ghostly forms, translucent images of who these people had been before Sasori murdered them. They weren't alive exactly, but they were acknowledged, recognized, given voice, and they were angry. The ghost images attacked Sasori's puppets, tearing through their former prison bodies with savage efficiency. Puppet after puppet fell to the wrath of those Sasori had desecrated. "Impossible," Sasori hissed. "You're giving them agency. Puppets don't have agency." "They do if someone believes in them," Naruto said. "And I believe in the value of every life, even after death. You threw these people away. I'm giving them one last chance to matter." The third Kazekage puppet emerged, Sasori's masterpiece, wielding iron sand techniques. Naruto met it with the combined power of every honored ghost in the cave. The clash was brief and brutal. Iron Sand met Spectral Rage, and Rage won. The third Kazekage puppet shattered, its pieces falling like black snow. Sasori's core was exposed, a small cylinder of living flesh containing his heart. Kakashi's Chidori pierced it. The puppet master's eyes widened in shock. "But my art, eternal." "Nothing's eternal," Naruto said, approaching the dying Akatsuki member. "Not art, not hatred, not pain, but the value you give things? That echoes. These people you killed, I just proved they mattered. Your puppets? Already forgotten. Guess which legacy wins?" Sasori's last expression might have been understanding or regret. He died before Naruto could tell. Across the cave, Team Guy had finally subdued Kimimaro, though Lee was injured and Neji was exhausted. The bone user lay in a crater, finally succumbing to his terminal illness. "The real Akatsuki members already left," Kakashi reported grimly. "We're too late." "No, we're not." Naruto pulled out a small object from his seal, a piece of Gaara's gourd he'd saved from their previous meeting. "Memory resonance. Show me where he is." He touched the sand fragment, images flooded in. Gaara's capture, the flight to this location, the extraction ritual starting, and then the ritual stopping. Akatsuki members fleeing as the seal holding them detected incoming ninja, but Gaara was still inside the statue. "He's here," Naruto shouted. "The extraction didn't finish. He might still be alive." They rushed to the statue. Gaara's body lay inside a depression, pale and still. Shukaku's presence was gone, the demon extracted. Medical diagnostics from Sakura confirmed the worst. No pulse, no breathing. He's been dead for at least an hour. "Then we bring him back," Naruto said. "Naruto, you can't resurrect. Watch me." He placed both gloved hands on Gaara's chest and activated existence affirmation for only the second time in his life. This technique was different from his others. It didn't transform objects or create weapons. It affirmed value, declared worth, insisted that something mattered despite all evidence otherwise. Naruto poured everything into Gaara. His belief that people could change, that monsters could become heroes, that outcasts deserved second chances. He pushed his power into Gaara's still heart and demanded it remember why it should beat. "You're not trash," Naruto said through gritted teeth. "You're not worthless. You're not throwaway. You're Gaara of the Sand. You're my friend. You're the person who proved that Jinchuriki can be more than weapons." His power blazed white gold, so bright everyone had to look away. "You have value, and I refuse to let you be thrown away," Gaara gasped. His eyes snapped open. His heart started beating. The resurrection was imperfect. He was weak, injured, his chakra system scrambled, but he was alive. "Naruto?" Gaara's voice was barely a whisper. "You saved me?" "Of course I did, you idiot. What part of I don't throw people away was unclear?" Gaara started crying, actual tears running down his face, the emotional release of someone who'd expected to die and found life instead. Naruto pulled him into a hug, uncaring of protocol or appearances. "You're okay," Naruto repeated. "You're okay. I got here in time. You're okay." The return journey was slower. Gaara needed constant medical attention, but he was alive, and that was what mattered. When they reached Sunagakure, the entire village turned out to celebrate. Their Kazekage had been saved. The Leaf Sand Alliance was stronger than ever, and Naruto received the highest honor Sand could bestow, a key to the village, marking him as family. "Thank you," Gaara said during the celebration feast, "for not giving up on me." "Thank you for not giving up on yourself," Naruto replied. "You could have surrendered to despair. Instead, you fought. That's worth celebrating." Back in Konoha, Tsunade reviewed their mission report with visible satisfaction. "You've proven something important," she said. "Akatsuki can be defeated. They're powerful, yes, but not invincible. And with your abilities, Naruto, we have a weapon they can't counter, a philosophy that directly opposes theirs." "I'm not a weapon," Naruto said quietly. "No, you're a ninja who fights for something worth protecting. That's far more dangerous to them than any weapon could be." The following months brought more Akatsuki encounters. Team 7 was deployed against Hidan and Kakuzu near the Fire Country border. The immortal duo had been targeting border settlements, collecting bounties, and generally causing chaos. Hidan's immortality was disturbing. He laughed while being stabbed, mocked his opponents, performed religious rituals using his own blood. But his immortality had a weakness Naruto identified immediately. "You're immortal because your body regenerates, right?" Naruto circled Hidan carefully. "But what if I don't damage your body? What if I just remove your ability to cause damage?" He created a construct from compressed stone and metal that wrapped around Hidan like a sarcophagus. Then he buried it. "You can't die," Naruto said to the sealed immortal, "but you can be imprisoned, forever, underground, alone, until the end of time." Hidan's muffled screams echoed from beneath the earth. "That's cruel," Sakura observed. "He ritually murdered 12 people last week. I'm not feeling merciful." Kakuzu was more challenging. His 5 hearts, each containing different elemental affinities, made him adaptable and resilient. But Naruto had learned something from Sasori. Multiple opponents could be defeated through systematic elimination. "Sasuke, take Lightning Heart," Naruto ordered. "Kakashi, Fire. Sakura, Water. I'll handle Wind and Earth." They coordinated perfectly. Sasuke's Chidori pierced the Lightning Heart. Kakashi's Lightning Blade destroyed the Fire Heart. Sakura's medically enhanced punch, combined with the water construct Naruto provided, crushed the Water Heart. That left Kakuzu with Wind and Earth Hearts, his power significantly diminished. "You're working together," Kakuzu rasped, disbelieving. "Actual teamwork, actual trust." "Yeah," Naruto said, creating a massive hammer from compressed earth. "That's what happens when you don't throw people away. You build something stronger than yourself." The hammer came down. Boom! Earth Heart destroyed. Kakuzu tried to flee, but Sasuke's wire techniques bound him in place. Naruto's final construct, a spear forged from determination and honor, pierced the last heart. Kakuzu died with disbelief in his eyes. The pattern was clear now. Akatsuki members, despite their power, were vulnerable to coordinated assault from opponents who trusted each other. Naruto's philosophy of bonds and teamwork directly countered their philosophy of isolation and power, but the organization had noticed, and they were adapting. 3 weeks after the Hidan Kakuzu fight, Naruto received an urgent message. Hinata had been kidnapped. The Hyuga compound was in chaos. Branch members were organizing search parties. Main family members were demanding action, and Hiyashi looked 10 years older. "She was training alone in the evening," Hiyashi reported, his voice strained. "We found evidence of multiple attackers. They disabled her Byakugan somehow, neutralized her defenses, and vanished. No traces, no clues." "There are always clues," Naruto said, his voice cold and flat. He walked to the training ground where Hinata had been taken, memory resonance. He touched the ground where she'd fallen, saw the attack through the Earth's memory. 4 attackers, snake summons. Medical knowledge used to disable her Tenketsu points. "Orochimaru," he said, "or his followers. They took her." "Why would he want Hinata?" Sakura asked. "Because she's my girlfriend, and he wants to study my powers. He's using her as bait." Naruto stood, his expression murderous. Big mistake. Huge mistake. The biggest mistake anyone has ever made. Naruto, Kakashi started. No, I'm going after her, alone if necessary. But I'm bringing her back, and I'm making Orochimaru regret every decision that led to this moment. Not alone, Sasuke said. The Team 7 moves together. Always together, Sakura agreed. They tracked the kidnappers to an abandoned laboratory in the Forest of Death, one of Orochimaru's old bases, apparently maintained by loyalists. The facility was underground, protected by traps and guards. Naruto didn't care about subtlety. He activated Vital Network and created an army of constructs from the forest itself. Every broken tree, every discarded tool, every piece of trash in the entire Forest of Death responded to his fury. Vital instrument, wrath of the discarded. The constructs tore through the facility's defenses like paper. Guards were overwhelmed. Traps triggered and neutralized. Walls shattered under the assault of Naruto's anger given physical form. They found Hinata in a laboratory, strapped to a table, unconscious but alive. Medical equipment surrounded her, clearly designed to study her Byakugan. Naruto destroyed it all. Every machine, every tool, every piece of equipment turned into scrap under his rage-fueled transformation powers. Fascinating, a voice said from the shadows. Such power, such conviction. You really do love her. Kabuto Yakushi emerged, his glasses reflecting the laboratory's emergency lights. Orochimaru-sama was right. You are interesting, Naruto Uzumaki. Where is he? Naruto's voice was death itself. Not here, but he sends his regards. Kabuto pushed up his glasses. He wanted me to tell you, everything you love can be taken away. Everything you value can be thrown away. Your philosophy means nothing if... Naruto moved, faster than Kabuto could track, faster than Sasuke's Sharingan could follow. Sage mode plus Jinki enhancement plus pure fury created speed that transcended normal limits. His gloved fist caught Kabuto in the chest and sent him flying through 3 walls. My philosophy, Naruto said, walking through the destruction, is that nothing is trash unless you decide it is. And I've decided you're trash, Kabuto. Medical genius or not, snake loyalist or not. You hurt Hinata. You're trash. He grabbed Kabuto by the throat and slammed him into the ground hard enough to crack concrete. Reclamation Authority, Naruto activated his ultimate technique. I'm claiming everything Orochimaru gave you, every medical enhancement, every snake technique, every bit of power he let you borrow. It's all discarded now. It's all mine. Kabuto screamed as his body's enhancements were forcibly extracted, transformed into light, and absorbed into Naruto's construct network. The medical knowledge remained, but the physical power was stripped away. Tell Orochimaru, Naruto said quietly, that the next time he touches something I care about, I won't stop at his followers. I'll hunt him to the ends of the earth and prove that even immortality is trash if I decide it is. He dropped Kabuto's powerless body and rushed to Hinata. She was waking up, confused and disoriented. Naruto-kun? I'm here. I've got you. You're safe. He cut her restraints carefully. I'm so sorry. I should have protected you better. You came for me. Her voice was awed. You actually came. Of course I came. You're not trash. You're never trash. He struggled for words. You're everything. She kissed him and the world narrowed to just that moment. Her lips on his. Her alive and safe. The knowledge that he'd fight anything to keep it that way. Team 7 extracted her carefully. The facility was destroyed behind them, collapsed into rubble, all evidence of Orochimaru's experimentation eliminated. Back in Konoha, the Hyuga clan threw a celebration for Hinata's safe return. But more importantly, Hiashi pulled Naruto aside for a private conversation. You saved my daughter, the clan head said formally. The Hyuga owe you a debt. You don't owe me anything. Hinata's my girlfriend. Of course I saved her. Nevertheless, Hiashi paused, clearly uncomfortable with whatever he was about to say. The clan elders have been discussing your relationship with Hinata. Naruto's expression hardened. If they have a problem, they don't. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Hiashi actually smiled slightly. You've proven yourself a capable ninja, a loyal friend, and someone who values what others discard. The elders approve of your relationship. And he took a breath. I give you my blessing. If you wish to pursue a permanent arrangement with my daughter, you have my support. It took Naruto a moment to process that. You're saying I can marry her? I'm saying when you're ready, yes. Though perhaps wait until you're both at least 16? Naruto laughed, slightly hysterical but genuine. Yeah, that sounds reasonable. That night, he and Hinata sat on the Hokage monument, looking out over the village lights. Hiyashi gave me his blessing, Naruto said, to marry you, eventually. Hinata's face turned crimson. He told you that? Yeah, I think he was trying to be subtle. He failed. Naruto took her hand. Bez, but I want you to know, I'm serious about this, about us. You're not just my girlfriend. I can't imagine my life without you anymore. I feel the same way. Her voice was quiet but certain. You see me, really see me, not as the Hyuga failure or the shy girl or the weak link. You see Hinata. And that's, she struggled for words, that's everything. They sat in comfortable silence, fingers intertwined, the future stretching out before them, full of possibility. But that future was about to get significantly more complicated. The message arrived at dawn. Pain of the Akatsuki was attacking Konoha. The invasion was sudden and overwhelming. 6 bodies descended from the sky, each marked with piercings and Rinnegan eyes. They moved with perfect coordination, shared vision allowing tactical awareness that surpassed even the Sharingan. Devapath landed in the village center and spoke with a voice that echoed across Konoha. This village is trash, a system built on violence and pain. I will discard it and create something better. This is divine judgment. Then he raised his hands. Shinra Tensei. The repulsion technique exploded outward with the force of a meteor impact. Buildings shattered. Streets cracked. Civilians were thrown like leaves. In one move, pain devastated a quarter of the village. Naruto felt it from his apartment. Felt the destruction. Felt the death. Felt his home being torn apart. Rage like he'd never known filled him. He was moving before conscious thought, Sage mode activating, Jinki powers blazing to life. Every piece of trash in his apartment responded, transforming, creating armor and weapons. He became a force of nature wrapped in neon-marked constructs. Hinata met him at the door, already dressed for combat. Together, she said. Together, he agreed. They rushed toward the village center, where other ninja were already engaging the 6 paths. But Pain's power was overwhelming. Kakashi fought Devapath but was clearly outmatched. Tsunade battled Asura Path, but its weapons were too varied. The rest of the defense forces were being systematically dismantled. Naruto arrived like a comet, constructs trailing behind him like wings. Pain, he roared. Your fight is with me. Leave them alone. All 6 paths turned to face him simultaneously. Their shared gaze was unnerving. Naruto Uzumaki, they spoke in unison. The 9 Tails Jinchuriki, our primary target, finally. I'm going to make you regret attacking my home, Naruto said, his voice cold. This village threw me away for years, but it's still my home, and I protect what's mine. He slammed both hands into the destroyed street. Vital instrument, Konoha's soul. Every broken building, every shattered weapon, every piece of debris from Pain's initial attack, every discarded dream and forgotten memory in the entire village, all of it responded. The earth glowed with neon patterns. Constructs began forming, not just weapons but representations. A spectral Hokage monument rising from rubble. Ghost images of the will of fire taking physical form. The collective determination of every person who'd ever loved Konoha made manifest through Naruto's power. You call this village trash, Naruto said, his voice echoing with borrowed authority. But trash is just things people haven't recognized the value of yet. And I've spent my entire life finding value in the discarded. So let me show you Konoha's true worth. The constructs attacked all 6 paths simultaneously. Asura Path was overwhelmed by weapon constructs, each one countering its mechanical enhancements. Human Path faced soul-defending barriers that prevented its extraction technique. Animal Path's summons were met by construct beasts born from the village's protective instinct. Preta Path tried to absorb Naruto's power and screamed. The emotional energy underlying Jinki techniques was toxic to absorption-type abilities. It couldn't be eaten, only experienced, and the accumulated pain of an entire village was too much. Naraka Path attempted to judge and restore, but Naruto's constructs had no physical form to restore. They were belief made solid, and belief couldn't be negated. That left Devapath, Pain's main body, the strongest, the most dangerous. Naruto faced it directly. You've seen pain, Pain said. You understand suffering. Why do you defend this village that hurt you? Because pain doesn't justify cruelty, Naruto replied. Yes, I suffered. Yes, they threw me away. But that gave me a choice. Become like them or prove they were wrong. I chose to prove them wrong. You chose to become a monster. We are not the same. Then you die a fool. Devapath activated Shinra Tensei again. The repulsion wave could have destroyed everything. Should have destroyed everything. But Naruto anchored himself with constructs rooted to the Earth's core and channeled existence affirmation through them. This village has value, he shouted against the pressure. These people matter. Their dreams are real, and I refuse to let you throw them away. His power exploded outward, meeting Pain's repulsion with equal force. The clash created a shockwave that shattered windows across the village, but Naruto held firm. Impossible, Pain breathed. Your conviction, it's stronger than my technique? My conviction is stronger than anything, Naruto corrected. Because I believe in value. I believe in worth. I believe in second chances. And I believe he created a massive construct hammer from the combined debris of the village. That you're about to learn what happens when trash fights back. He swung. The hammer hit with the force of every discarded thing in Konoha. Every broken dream, every shattered hope, every tossed aside ambition, given physical form and divine weight, Devapath was driven into the ground. Crack. The crater was 20 meters wide. Pain tried to stand, failed, collapsed. The other 5 paths were already defeated, destroyed by Naruto's construct army. You actually... Pain coughed blood. How? Because I'm the garbage man, Naruto said, approaching the feet of Katsuki leader. And nothing stays trash when I'm around. But something felt wrong. These bodies were puppets, Naruto realized. Corpses being controlled remotely. The real Pain was elsewhere. Hinata, he called. Your Byakugan. Can you track the chakra signals controlling these bodies? She focused, her veins bulging around her eyes. There, northwest, half a kilometer. A massive chakra source in the old industrial district. Kakashi-sensei, secure the paths. Hinata, you're with me. They found Nagato in a ruined building, concealed within a massive paper tree. The real body of Pain was emaciated, skeletal, barely alive. Konan stood guard beside him, ready to fight. But Naruto didn't attack. Why? He asked simply. Nagato's eyes, those legendary Rinnegan, focused on him with effort. Because the world is trash. The shinobi system creates only suffering. Pain is eternal. The cycle must be broken. So you throw away the whole world? Start over? Create peace through fear and control? Naruto shook his head. That's not peace. That's surrender. That's admitting everything is worthless. Then what's your solution? How do you break the cycle? You don't break it. You transcend it. Naruto walked closer despite Konan's threatening movements. I was Konoha's trash. The demon brat everyone wanted to disappear. I could have become a monster. Could have destroyed the village that hurt me. Could have proven them right about how worthless I was. He knelt in front of Nagato. But I chose differently. I chose to prove that even trash has value. That even broken things can be beautiful. That even the discarded deserve second chances. His voice softened. You were thrown away by your village. I understand that pain, but throwing away the rest of the world in revenge? That's letting them win. That's proving you were right to be discarded. What else is there? Nagato's voice cracked. I've tried everything. I've lost everything. There's nothing left but pain. There's redemption. Naruto activated existence affirmation one more time, pouring his power not into constructs, but directly into Nagato. You're not trash. You're hurting. You're lost. But you're not beyond saving. No one is. The light was blinding. Golden white energy enveloped Nagato, filling him with warmth he'd forgotten could exist. For the first time in years, the pain in his body lessened. His emaciated form didn't heal, but the emotional weight lifted. Tears ran down Nagato's face. I killed so many people. Then bring them back. You have the Rinna rebirth technique. Use it. Save the people you killed. Prove that even someone who's caused so much suffering can create value instead of destroying it. That technique will kill me. Then die knowing you did something meaningful. Die knowing you chose redemption over destruction. Die, Naruto's voice was gentle, knowing that someone believed you still had worth. Nagato looked at Konan, who nodded through her tears. Then he formed the hand seals. Rinna rebirth. His life force poured out, spreading across Konoha, touching every person who died in the invasion. Hearts restarted. Wounds closed. The dead returned to life, gasping and confused but alive. When it finished, Nagato was smiling. Thank you, he whispered. for showing me that even I wasn't trash. He died peacefully, finally free of pain. Conan collected his body reverently. I'll take him home, to the hidden rain. He'd want to be buried there. Will you continue his work? Naruto asked. No, his work was born from pain and led only to more pain. I'll find a new path. One that honors what he could have been instead of what he became. She looked at Naruto with something like awe. You're either the most naive person alive or the most dangerous. I can't tell which. I'm the garbage man, Naruto said simply. I don't give up on people. Ever. She left with Nagato's body, and Naruto returned to find Konoha celebrating. The dead had been revived, the paths had been defeated, pain was gone, and the village had survived. Tsunade met him in the village center, where reconstruction was already beginning. You saved us, she said simply. Again, the village owes you everything. The village doesn't owe me anything. I was just protecting my home. Naruto looked around at the damage. But we need to rebuild, and I can help with that. Let me help. Over the following weeks, Naruto used his powers to accelerate reconstruction. He transformed debris into building materials, created constructs that worked tirelessly, proved that even in destruction there was potential for creation, and throughout it all, Hinata was beside him, working together, building together, proving that their bond was as strong as any technique. One evening, after a long day of reconstruction, Naruto pulled Hinata aside to the spot where they'd first kissed. I've been thinking, he said, about what Hiashi said, about permanent arrangements. Naruto-kun? Her face flushed. He pulled out a small ring, crafted from his original broken broom handle, the first object he'd ever transformed, marked with faint blue neon patterns. This was the first piece of trash I ever gave value to, he said. The broom that awakened my powers. I've kept it all these years as a reminder of where I started. He took her hand. Hinata Hyuga, will you marry me? Will you let me prove every day that you're the most valuable thing in my life? She was crying. Yes. Yes, of course yes. The ring fit perfectly. The blue glow pulsed in time with their heartbeats, and Naruto thought, maybe for the first time, that he understood what it meant to be truly seen as valuable. But their happiness was interrupted by new intelligence. Obito Uchiha had revealed himself as the true leader of Akatsuki. With Pain dead and most members defeated, he decided on a direct approach, revival of the Ten Tails and the casting of infinite Tsukuyomi, a genjutsu that would enslave all of humanity in an eternal dream. He's declaring war, Tsunade reported grimly, the fourth great ninja war. All 5 villages against Akatsuki's remaining forces and his army of Zetsu clones. When? Naruto asked. 3 days. The allied forces are gathering at the Valley of Clouds and Lightning. You've been requested specifically, Naruto. Your powers and your reputation make you invaluable. Then I go. We all go, Sasuke said. Team 7 had gathered for the briefing. Team 7 fights together. Always together, Sakura agreed. The war council was held in a massive tent at the allied camp. Kaji from all 5 villages, their advisors, elite jonin and special operatives. Naruto stood with Team 7 listening to battle plans and deployment strategies. We're facing approximately 100,000 Zetsu clones plus whatever forces Obito has recruited, the Raikage said. Our forces number 80,000. We're outnumbered but better trained. What about the Ten Tails? Asked the Mizukage. Intelligence suggests Obito needs the 8 and 9 Tails to complete the revival. Without them, the 10 Tails will be unstable and incomplete, so he'll target Naruto and Killer Bee specifically. Let him try, Naruto said. I've got something special planned. Over the next 2 days, Naruto prepared. He collected materials from across the entire allied encampment, every discarded weapon, every broken tool, every piece of trash from 80,000 shinobi. His seal storage was at maximum capacity, bulging with potential. He also trained with Hinata, developing combination techniques that merged Gentle Fist with Jinki constructs. Her precision and his power created devastating synergies. You know this is the big one, Hinata said during a training break. The war that decides everything. I know. I'm scared. Me too. Naruto took her hand. But we'll face it together. And whatever happens, I want you to know, you've given my life meaning beyond just proving I'm not trash. You've made me want to be more than powerful. You've made me want to be good. You are good, Naruto-kun. You always have been. The war began at dawn, but 100,000 Zetsu clones emerged from the earth like a plague. The Allied forces met them with everything they had, jutsu lighting up the sky, weapons clashing, thousands of individual battles, creating a symphony of violence. Team 7 was assigned to the front lines, fighting alongside other elite units. But their real mission was clear: protect Naruto while he prepared his ultimate technique. Because Naruto had a plan. He'd been developing it for months, refining it through every battle, building toward this moment. It was called Complete Reclamation, and it was going to change everything. "I need 30 minutes, he told his team. "Hold them off for 30 minutes. "You've got it," Kakashi promised. Team 7 formed a defensive perimeter while Naruto sat cross-legged in the center, hands pressed to the ground. Around them, the war raged. Zetsu clones attacked in waves. Allied ninja fought and died. But Team 7 held their ground. Sasuke Susanoo manifested, creating a physical barrier. Sakura's strength turned any clone that got close into pulp. Kakashi's Kamui eliminated threats before they could engage, and Hinata's Byakugan provided tactical awareness, calling out enemy positions. Inside the perimeter, Naruto's power grew. He was connecting to every discarded object on the battlefield, every broken weapon, every shattered armor, every piece of trash created by the violence. And beyond that, he was connecting to the emotional weight of war itself. The fear, the determination, the desperate hope for survival, all of it became ammunition. Vital instrument, complete reclamation. His power exploded outward across the entire battlefield. Every broken sword reformed. Every shattered kunai became whole. Every discarded piece of equipment transformed into something beautiful and terrible. And all of it, thousands upon thousands of weapons, began floating around Naruto like a hurricane of steel and determination. "What is that?" Someone shouted. "That's Naruto Uzumaki," Gaara said from his position commanding a unit. "That's the garbage man, proving why you should never throw anything away." Naruto opened his eyes. They glowed white gold with sage mode and existence affirmation combined. Vital network, army of the valued. The weapons didn't just move, they coordinated. Each blade knew its purpose. Each tool understood its role. They formed autonomous units that fought with precision exceeding human capability, because they carried the memories and skills of every person who'd ever wielded them. The tide of battle shifted immediately. Zetsu clones were overwhelmed by weapon constructs that attacked with flawless teamwork. Allied ninjas suddenly had support from autonomous soldiers made of light and determination. The 100,000 enemy forces began falling to Naruto's 10,000 weapon constructs, but Obito had anticipated this. He appeared on the battlefield in his new form, merged with the Ten Tails, transcendent power radiating from every pore. Truth-seeking orbs orbited him, capable of erasing matter itself. "Impressive," Obito said, his voice echoing across the chaos. "You've turned the battlefield itself into your weapon, but I've transcended such limitations. I'll simply erase everything you've created." His truth-seeking orbs launched toward Naruto's weapon army. They made contact and bounced off. Obito's eyes widened. "Impossible. These orbs erase anything. They can't be blocked by conventional jutsu." "Good thing my jutsu isn't conventional," Naruto said, standing. "Truth-seeking orbs destroy based on negation, right? They say you don't exist and reality agrees. But my power says you do exist, you have value, and I refuse to let you be erased." It's affirmation against negation, and affirmation is stronger. He created a massive construct sword from every weapon on the battlefield simultaneously. Thousands of blades merged into one, marked with rainbow neon patterns, humming with the collective determination of an entire army. Vital instrument, existence blade. The sword was taller than a building. Its edge glowed with light that hurt to look at. And when Naruto swung it toward Obito, the very air screamed. Obito created a barrier of truth-seeking orbs. The blade hit them and kept going. Crack! The orbs shattered like glass because they couldn't negate something that explicitly rejected negation. "No!" Obito dodged desperately. "This can't be! I've become God! I've transcended human limitations! Your belief shouldn't be able to touch me!" "That's your problem," Naruto said, pursuing. "You think becoming God means disconnecting from humanity, but the strongest power doesn't come from transcendence. It comes from connection, from bonds, from giving value to the things others throw away." Team 7 joined the assault. Sasuke's perfect Susanoo wielded blades of lightning. Sakura's strength shattered the ground beneath Obito's feet. Kakashi's Kamui targeted weak points. Hinata's gentle fist found gaps in his defense. They fought across dimensions. Obito's Kamui pulled them into his personal realm, but Naruto simply declared it had value and therefore he could affect it. They fought through space and time, each exchange of blows reshaping reality. "Why won't you understand?" Obito shouted. "This world is trash. People hurt each other. They throw away bonds. They create only suffering. I'm offering perfect peace through infinite Tsukuyomi. A world where no one suffers." "A world where no one suffers is a world where no one lives," Naruto countered. "Pain is part of existence. Loss is part of growth. Suffering teaches us compassion. You can't have value without risk, Obito, and I'd rather live in a messy, painful real world than a perfect, painless, false one." He drove the existence blade toward Obito's heart. "You were thrown away," Naruto continued, his voice softer. "Your village failed you. Madara manipulated you. You lost Rin and thought you'd lost everything. I understand that pain. I've lived that pain. But you responded by deciding the whole world was worthless. I responded by deciding to prove everything had worth. We chose different paths from the same pain." The blade stopped an inch from Obito's chest. "But it's not too late. Even now, even after everything you've done, you can choose differently. You can prove that you still have value, that you're not trash to be thrown away or a monster beyond redemption. You can be human again, Obito. You just have to choose it." Obito stared at him, tears mixing with blood on his face. I killed so many people." "Then save them. You have the Rinnegan. You have Rinne Rebirth. Do what Nagato did. Choose redemption over destruction." For a long moment, Obito wavered. Then he looked at Kakashi, his old friend, and saw forgiveness in those eyes. "I'm sorry," Obito whispered. "I'm so sorry." He formed the seals. Rinne Rebirth. His life force poured out across the battlefield, touching everyone who died in the war. Thousands of souls returning to their bodies, families reunited, bonds restored. When it finished, Obito collapsed. Naruto caught him, lowered him gently to the ground. "Thank you," Obito said, for not throwing me away." He died with peace on his face, finally free of his pain and hatred. The war ended with his death. The Ten Tails dissolved. The Zetsu army crumbled. The allied forces stood victorious, battered but alive, mourning their dead but celebrating survival. Naruto stood at the center of it all, his weapon constructs slowly dissolving, returning to their component parts. He was exhausted, drained, but satisfied. Hinata found him there and pulled him into an embrace. "You did it," she whispered. "You saved everyone." "We did it," he corrected. "All of us. Together." The celebration lasted 3 days, all 5 villages united in victory. Treaties were signed, alliances formalized, and Naruto Uzumaki was recognized as the hero who ended the war not through destruction, but through his unshakable belief in the value of all things. Tsunade offered him the Hokage position during the celebration feast. "You've earned it," she said simply. "Your power, your conviction, your ability to inspire others. You're what the village needs." "I'm 19, Naruto pointed out. "That seems young for Hokage. You're mature beyond your years, and the village trusts you in ways they've never trusted anyone. You've proven that even their trash can become treasure. They see you as a symbol of redemption and possibility." Naruto looked at Hinata, who nodded encouragingly. "I'll do it," he said. "But not yet. Give me 1 year. Let me get married, take some time to recover from the war, prepare properly. Then I'll take the hat." Deal. The wedding happened 3 months later. It was a village-wide celebration, everyone invited, nobles and civilians alike. The Hyuga provided the venue. Team 7 stood as Naruto's groomsmen. Hinata's sister Hanabi was maid of honor. The ceremony was beautiful, traditional with modern touches. Naruto wore formal robes marked with subtle blue patterns, his signature. Hinata wore white with lavender accents, her Byakugan veins visible around her eyes from crying happy tears. When they exchanged vows, Naruto spoke from the heart. "I was trash for most of my life," he said. "Thrown away, discarded, told I was worthless. But you looked at me and saw value. You believed in me before anyone else did. You proved that even the most broken things can be treasured." His voice cracked. "I promise to spend every day proving you made the right choice, to honor you the way I honor every discarded thing, by showing the world how valuable you are. Hinata's vows were simpler, but no less powerful. You taught me that being discarded doesn't define you, that other people's assessment doesn't determine your worth. You showed me strength comes from believing in yourself when no one else will. She took his hands. I promise to believe in you, always, even when you don't believe in yourself, because you deserve to be valued, Naruto Uzumaki, now and forever. They sealed their vows with a kiss that made the entire audience cheer. The reception was chaotic and joyful, music and dancing and more food than any reasonable gathering needed. Naruto's apartment, their apartment now, was filled with wedding gifts, most of them handmade by villagers who wanted to show appreciation. That night, lying in bed beside his wife, Naruto felt truly complete. "I love you," he whispered. "I love you too," Hinata replied. Already half asleep, the year passed in quiet happiness. Naruto took missions, but fewer of them, spent time training the next generation, worked with Tsunade to prepare for leadership, and enjoyed being married to the person who'd seen his value before anyone else. When the Hokage inauguration finally came, the entire village turned out to witness it. Naruto stood on the platform in his new robes, white and gold with blue accents, marked with the kanji for value on the back. The Hokage hat sat on his head. Tsunade performed the ceremony, passing her responsibilities to him. "Do you swear to protect Konohagakure with your life?" she asked formally. "I do." "Do you swear to lead with wisdom and compassion?" "I do." "Do you swear to serve the village's interests above your own?" "I swear." "Then by my authority as 5th Hokage, I declare you 6th Hokage, Naruto Uzumaki." She smiled. "Don't screw it up." The village erupted in cheers. Naruto looked out over them, these people who'd once thrown him away, who now celebrated him, who'd learned the same lesson he'd been teaching his entire life. Nothing is truly trash until you decide it is. He thought about his journey. The broken broom that awakened his powers, the rusty shuriken that saved Iruka, the massive battles where discarded materials became weapons. The enemies who'd learned that being thrown away didn't mean being worthless. And he thought about Hinata, standing in the crowd with her hand on her pregnant belly, their child, soon to be born, a new life that would never know what it was like to be discarded. "I have something to say," Naruto announced, his voice carrying across the crowd. "I became Hokage because this village learned a lesson. You learned that value isn't inherent, it's recognized. That trash is just potential waiting for someone to believe in it. That even broken things can become beautiful." He gestured broadly. "But that lesson doesn't end with me. It extends to everyone. Every person here has value. Every dream matters. Every bond is precious. And as your Hokage, I promise to ensure no one is ever thrown away again. Not the orphans, not the outcasts, not the ones society deems worthless. Everyone has worth. Everyone matters. Everyone deserves a chance to prove their treasure, not trash." The cheering was deafening, and as Naruto stood there, wearing the Hokage hat, his gloves still tucked in his pocket, he would never stop carrying them. He knew with absolute certainty that he'd fulfilled his purpose. He'd proven that nothing was truly trash, not even himself. Years passed. Naruto's time as Hokage was marked by prosperity and peace. He maintained alliances with all 5 villages, established programs for orphans and outcasts, created systems to ensure no child would grow up feeling worthless like he had. His first child, a son named Boruto, was born with eyes that glowed faintly orange, a hint of his father's power, perhaps, or just a reflection of lineage. Naruto held him for the first time and wept, thinking about cycles broken and new beginnings. Hinata became head of the Hyuga clan after Hiashi retired. She reformed the branch family system, eliminated the cage bird seal, and proved that traditional structures could evolve without losing their essence. Sasuke became Naruto's advisor and closest friend, traveling the world to maintain diplomatic relationships. He married eventually, to everyone's surprise. It was Karen, the former Orochimaru subordinate who'd reformed. They had a daughter named Sarada, who inherited both the Sharingan and her mother's healing abilities. Sakura became the greatest medical ninja in history, surpassing even Tsunade. She ran the hospital with efficiency and compassion, training generations of medics. She never married, declared she was married to her work, but seemed genuinely happy with that choice. Team 7 remained close throughout their lives. They met monthly for dinner, sharing stories and maintaining bonds that had been forged in fire and tempered through countless battles. The old junkyard behind Training Ground 7 was converted into a memorial, a place where people could leave objects they'd once valued, knowing they wouldn't be forgotten. Naruto visited it regularly, transforming items for people who requested it, proving again and again that nothing was beyond redemption. His philosophy spread beyond Konoha. Other villages adopted similar practices: orphan programs, outcast support systems, recognition that value came from belief rather than inherent worth. The shinobi world slowly became kinder, more thoughtful, more willing to see potential in unlikely places. And now, decades later, Naruto stood in his office looking at his old gloves, displayed in a glass case, labeled the first treasures. They were barely recognizable, so worn and patched that they looked like they might fall apart. But they'd served their purpose. They'd awakened his power. They'd taught him his philosophy. They'd changed everything. Boruto entered the office, now a chunin himself at 17. "Papa, someone's here to see you." Says he's a collector interested in the village's history. "Send him in." The visitor was young, maybe 14, wearing tattered clothes and carrying a backpack full of what looked like trash. His eyes held the same hunger Naruto remembered from his own youth, the desperate desire to prove he mattered. "Hokage-sama," the boy said nervously. "I'm from a small village in Earth Country. I heard about you, about how you turn trash into treasure, about how you give value to discarded things." He pulled out a broken kunai from his bag. "Can you teach me? Please? Everyone in my village says I'm worthless, that my ideas are stupid, but I think maybe they're wrong. Maybe I just need someone to believe in me." Naruto looked at the boy, really looked, and saw himself 3 decades ago. "What's your name?" he asked. "Takeshi." "Well, Takeshi, let me tell you something." Naruto walked over to his glove case and opened it carefully. He pulled out one of the old gloves. Technically, he shouldn't. These were historical artifacts, but screw protocol. He handed it to the boy. "These gloves awakened my power when I was 8 years old. They were trash themselves, held together with duct tape and determination. But they taught me the most important lesson anyone can learn." He met Takeshi's eyes. "Nothing is truly trash unless you decide it is. Value isn't inherent, it's recognized. And the most powerful thing you can do is believe in the worth of things other people have thrown away." He gestured to the broken kunai in Takeshi's other hand. "That kunai? It looks worthless, but it was probably loved once, used by someone who trained hard, who dreamed big, who maybe failed and threw it away in frustration. But that doesn't mean it stopped mattering. It just means it's waiting for someone who understands its value." Naruto activated his own power. He could still use it, even without gloves now. They'd just been a focus, and the kunai glowed with familiar blue light. It transformed into a beautiful blade marked with neon patterns. "I can't teach you my specific power," Naruto said. "Everyone's abilities are unique, but I can teach you my philosophy. And philosophy is often more powerful than any jutsu." Takeshi's eyes were wide, tears forming. You really believe I'm not trash?" "I believe everyone has value, even when they can't see it themselves, especially then." Naruto handed back the transformed kunai. "Keep this. Remember what it represents. And when you go back to your village, show them what you've learned, that their assessment doesn't define you, that being discarded doesn't make you worthless, that trash is just treasure waiting for someone with vision." The boy left crying, clutching the glowing blade like it was the most precious thing in the world. Boruto watched him go. "You're going soft, old man." "I'm being consistent," Naruto corrected. "That kid needed someone to believe in him. I was that someone. Just like Iruka was for me. Just like Hinata was. Just like everyone who ever saw my value when I couldn't." He returned the glove to its case carefully. "That's the cycle I'm trying to create. People who were thrown away lifting up the next generation of discarded, proving again and again that nothing is worthless unless we make it so." "Do you ever regret it?" Boruto asked quietly. "The years you spent as trash? The pain?" "Every day," Naruto admitted, "but I also wouldn't change it. That pain made me who I am, made me fight for outcasts, made me develop powers that changed the world, made me understand value in ways others couldn't." He looked at his son. "Pain is part of growth, Boruto. The question isn't whether you suffer, everyone suffers. The question is what you do with that suffering. Do you let it make you cruel, or do you transmute it into compassion? I choose compassion. Then you've learned the most important lesson I can teach. That evening, Naruto walked home through Konoha's streets, rebuilt, thriving, peaceful. Children played in parks that had once been battlefields. Merchants sold goods in markets that had been destroyed and recreated. The village lived and breathed and grew, all of it built on the foundation of believing things could be better. Hinata met him at the door of their house, gray now threading through her dark hair, but still beautiful in every way that mattered. "Long day?" she asked. "Good day. Met a kid who reminded me of myself, gave him some advice." Naruto pulled her into an embrace. "I love you. Have I mentioned that recently?" "You mention it every day." She smiled against his chest, "But I never get tired of hearing it." They stood there as the sun set over Konoha, two people who'd been discarded and had chosen to prove the world wrong, wrapped in each other's arms, knowing that they'd built something beautiful from broken pieces. And somewhere in the village, a young boy named Takeshi looked at his glowing blade and believed, truly believed, that he might be treasure after all, because that was Naruto's legacy. Not the battles won, or the enemies defeated, or even the peace maintained. His legacy was the belief that nothing and no one was ever truly trash. That value could be found anywhere if you looked with the right eyes. That even the most broken things deserved a chance to be beautiful. He was the garbage man who became Hokage, and he'd proven beyond any doubt that trash could change the world.
Naruto really said, "I'm the garbage man," and made it the hardest title in anime. Subscribe if you want more stories where underdogs become overpowered menaces. Comment legend if you made it this far. All right, I'm out. Go bully Sasuke in the comments or something. Peace.